How are you?
Good. Are you ready?
I can see what.
Yeah.
I'll do all the work, that's fine.
Perfect.
And then once we're done with your item, actually when, we'll call your item, we'll say this is item 5, UV style, and then, you could come up and sit here and then just sign your name. And then, if the planning commission has any questions regarding the plan, at least she'll be here and then we can ask you. And then, once they're done, they'll make their motion, to approve, deny, or continue it, and then.
I want the water. Do you want water? Or you got one?
And then I'll contact you. Yeah, and I started this early just in case. Last minute, like.
Not like this. We're building a new one.
What?
Good.
No, I don't think Brad will be here tonight.
We're not having a second, remember, just take a break. Willing to exhaust.
You know what? I'm just gonna take him off. He doesn't come to these ones too often unless it's, and he's easy to add. He's got a short name and a short title. Steve sent an email saying he was gonna be late. My Skittles or anything before it starts? Well, it hasn't updated. I hate trying to open stuff in the middle of the meeting, right?
Sure. Very often, not always open.
You don't think it's that?
It's pretty loud when other meetings go by. Sad that I know.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was like, yeah.
Yep, I've heard it.
It's been in my head for like a week.
I know, Cameron played it. We were just like going over the course. I mean, that's all it is,
Yeah.
the course, basically. It's like, just in my head the whole weekend.
It's so cute.
I know.
There we go.
For sure, fill those in and put it as well, and change it later.
I put it in black, and then on paper highlight. I try to do as much as I can in
Do
here.
you keep underlined?
No,
Okay.
nope. I
Alright.
usually just put the
And just
cursor
in
at the
caps,
beginning.
right?
It's just so I can do it. Yeah, in
That's
caps,
what
and then
I do
just
too.
so that I remember this. Yeah.
That's what I do too.
And like once you get kind of to your system, like you can always change it. Like,
Mhm.
but it's easier. Again, not saying you have to do it this way. But it's like easier. It's like if you start it and somebody else picks it up, it's like kind of the same pattern. But I feel like if you have the same pattern but not the same colors, right? Like,
I get it.
I'm trying to like not be controlling.
But it really will bother me if you do it that way, so
But
don't do
it
that
might
way.
not run as smooth if you don't do it the way I said it. Just kidding. No. I remember the first time like Whitney did it, she did blue and I was like,
Oh, that's a choice.
really, I do red. But she actually does mostly writing.
Yeah, that's true.
She does it writing down now, so like it works. I get a hand cramp if I write too much. And you know for public comment, how to do public comment, right? Like
Maybe.
right here, usually I'll just go backspace and I would be like, John Doe, is usually what I do, and then I do this and I'll be like, lives at, and I'll type it. It's always flush left, and then like when I actually do the minutes, I just underline it, so it's like that, and is it doesn't want the road worried about, you know what I mean? And then it'll be like Kayla, and I try to get their names as they say it, so I kind of have an idea. And then when I see it on the paper, I can be like, oh, that was the name I thought I heard. But yeah, so it'll just be like Kayla Winters.
So you underlined it, or why?
I do that just when I finalize them, so it's like the name, but like I can't do that in here, so I'll usually just type it and then I'll be like Caleb, and just kind of do it like that. But that's usually how it's kind of laid out in there. You don't have to get it perfect in here. You want to get names and a general summary of what they said so you can expand on it later. That's like the main thing. So that's in public comment. That is before. If it's public comment. Hey, good morning, or good evening. That's a day. If it's public comment in that agenda item, put it in the agenda. Don't put it out there.
Is someone going okay?
Yeah, kind of can be confusing.
Good, how about yours? Okay, Rob, how about yours? Every time you have to fix it, Marie.
Better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Would you like to give us an
I don't know where you
indication?
want me at, like where you seated everybody.
I remember now, I think Mike's on this side this time, and he's normally over here. And he's
Yeah,
over
I've
there.
never been
I
on
think
the
I
end.
switched
That's-
you.
No, that's good. Shake it up.
So stressful putting out the name.
I
Like,
know.
I don't know why.
After Bill, and I really think about it too.
Okay, where did this last time? Who did this at five? Where did that come right?
Doesn't have to be postponed. We can just continue.
So yeah, that's like been like, I don't know.
Let's
just
go.
separate people at
Hello, how are
separate
you? Feels like we haven't seen each other forever. What?
We been
So like
traveling
we
this
usually put
summer?
him in
Yeah.
there 'cause
In, out, around, yep.
it took me a minute.
Yep.
Because you don't see their faces.
Couple more weeks, we'll be gone again.
Yeah,
See how we can do it, you know, I can see what Friday would like to have it done.
well, they have to go talk to the city even if they wanted. The city is gonna have to go talk to Pleasant Grove before they can even commit.
That's probably why a lot of these folks are here too.
Yeah, I want to sit down.
I haven't heard.
I think surviving school's harder.
Well, you do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Just because it's so hard to get cleared up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you go to school?
It's doing a lot better this year though, thankfully. That's been a tough transition from medical and hospital life to school.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely.
It's really hard. Suddenly not everything revolves around them.
Yeah. So your walking thing turned out good?
Oh, run club, it was so fun. We had kids. We had kids make it to. We had some and I had some kids get to 60. It's not bad.
That's amazing.
5 days a week, and we did 2 weeks.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Wow, that's
incredible.
incredible. It's almost like if it wasn't for lack of light, you wish you could continue it after school because you know they don't get the exercise they should anymore at school.
No, they don't.
You know, they don't do anything. They come home and sit and watch video games. So, I mean, that's awesome.
It's been so good for them, and so good for them to just realize like they're capable.
Yeah, to set goals and reach it. Yeah, that's really cool.
Because they loved the prizes. Like we had some good prizes that got donated. And
Goes.
Just a bunch of fun stuff. That's awesome.
as like a those are the fire miles. But yeah, it was really cool. 2 weeks is about the right amount of time. 14 buildings down to 5. It's like really good. They should read it. We're gonna go race almost every single day. I'm sorry, no, I didn't even know. So 10 weeks is perfect. I'm excited to do it again next year.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping to get my grandson's. Thank you. They're not tied up. I think she's already got them signed up for somewhere next year during the summer. You know, because well, she works, and so she has to.
Yeah, she's gonna be, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, it was good. I was impressed, and
We thought we were going to find the
The 4-year-old's super athletic, and he just runs like he's on the wind, you know. The other one's a little bit more clumsy and large, and he.
well, I had a 4-year-old girl make it to 100 meters.
That's
Crazy. She never missed a day. She never missed a day. And she did.
that's so cool. That was a great service you provided for that neighborhood.
It was
on with ourselves. The first thing that comes out, well, we just thought that was the easy part that, you know, a couple of months ago.
it was
we
really,
took-
it was
Should I have Ryan come up or should we wait for Steve? So should Ryan come up?
Maybe it's what they're doing for our age. Yeah, well, to be fair, I got type 2 diabetes.
So if Steve's here, so when he comes in, you're gonna swap? You're gonna warm up the seat for him.
I've had my diabetes under control for about 2 years. Three meds,
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. Would like to welcome the public and staff and planning commissioners to this meeting. We'd like to commence our meeting with an invocation, and we've asked Commissioner Call if she would offer that, and then Commissioner Danielson, Karen, if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads before thee this evening. We are very grateful to gather together. We are grateful to be citizens of Lindon. We are grateful for the freedoms we enjoy and the pleasant surroundings that we have. We pray that thou will help us and bless us tonight to make good decisions, to listen carefully, and to conduct ourselves well. And we pray for these things this night, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to have a roll call of the commissioners. We start off with Sharon Call,
Here.
Mike Marchbanks.
Here.
Rob Callis is here. Steve Johnson is going to be joining us. He's been delayed and will join us a little later in the meeting. Scott Thompson.
Here.
Jared Showers.
Here.
Karen Danielson.
Here.
And Ryan Doan.
Here.
And Ryan is substituting for Steve until he gets here. Appreciate you, Ryan. Our first item, we have 7 items of business tonight on our agenda. I'd like to just let everyone know that the Cottonwood Healthcare Corporation headquarters discussion has been canceled. So we just have these 6 items now. Our first order of business is we have a time for public comment. This is for an opportunity for anyone from the public here tonight who would like to make a comment. Oh, yes, I haven't done the roll call, have I?
Yeah, the approval.
Oh, yes, okay. Let's approve our minutes. I'm sorry, I overlooked
Sorry
that.
to-
No, that's good, thank you. We have been given the minutes from last meeting we met and have had a chance to review those minutes. I assume that everybody has looked at those, and has anybody found any corrections that need to be made, or are they okay to approve as printed?
Steve had a couple changes, I've sent those to Brittany, and those have been made, so.
Okay,
Okay.
all right,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
subject to those
Subject to
changes.
the
that-
changes.
Okay, second,
I'll sec,
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second that.
all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now we'll get to the public comment. If there's anyone here tonight that has a comment that they'd like to make about anything not on the agenda, we give an opportunity for that. Is there anything that anybody would like to address? Okay. Our first item of business is a conditional use permit for Lindon Collision LLC. And we'll turn the time over. Brittany, are you going to take care of that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We'll turn the time over to staff and then address that. Is there a representative here? Why don't you come up and sit here in case we have questions of you? What was your name?
Eric Reed?
Eric Reed. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a conditional use permit. The applicant, Eric Reed, is requesting a conditional use permit to operate an auto parts manufacturing business. This specializes in fabrication and production for classic vehicle parts at 503 North Geneva Road. I have the parcel map here to show you exactly what building it's going to be located in. This one here. The applicant requests the conditional use permit for the mixed commercial zone in Lindon City and doing auto work. It is recommended to do the conditional use permit, and that is the process that staff had advised Eric Reed to do. Again, he will be operating as an auto parts manufacturing business, specializing in the fabrication of production for classic vehicle parts. And staff had advised him that all work on the vehicles will be done entirely indoors, with the outdoor space used only for employee and customer parking or temporary storage of the vehicles that are waiting to be serviced. And that's all.
Okay. Do you have anything that you would like to add to that? What kind of parts do you manufacture?
I fabricate roll bars for hot rods. So I'll have the customer's cars come in, and then I fabricate the roll bar for it, and then I send it out with the customer so they can install them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you manufacture those right there on site?
Manufacture them right there.
On site. Oh, great. Now, will this building be shared? Is it a shared building?
Yeah, it's Martin Snow's building on Geneva Road. It's got Abco and a couple, cabinet shop and a couple other places in there.
Okay.
How many square feet is yours?
I think it's 2,500. I do a lot of storing classic vehicles during the winter, so
Inside?
inside.
Do you have another business right now that you're operating out of, or is this new?
No, I actually used to own Lindon Collision, and then I sold it. And then I was always doing customized work out of that shop that I've been in, this one for 10 years, but it was part of Lindon Collision. And when I sold my business, I kept my EIN number and my business name, and I just moved solely down there.
Okay.
I just kept doing what I was doing before.
Okay.
So it's the same work you were doing, only on a reduced amount?
Yeah, so we used to do some body work because it was part of Lindon Collision, but I don't do anything. I have a non-compete with Unique Auto Body, so I don't do any body work and no paint. I just send my work down there to have them do it.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions by any of the commissioners?
I just had one question about the storage until they're waiting for parts. Do you want to explain that a little bit? Like, how long can it be sometimes to have a car there waiting for
Well,
parts?
sometimes it can be a month, the car's sitting there, because I'll bring it in, I'll test fit all the specs on it, and then I'll bring it out and set it. I mean, there's been cars sitting there, because some of them are my personal vehicles that I'm trying to sell, but most of the stuff, I bring it in, test fit it, bring it out, customize the bars, and then bring it back in and then fit them all.
Yeah, it seems like there's storage on, outside the building on the north side.
Yes, there is.
And those are your personal cars?
2 of my personal cars, and then 2 of them are customers' vehicles.
Will you be doing auto sales there?
No.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
My only concern would be when you say they're setting outside the building for quite a period of time.
Well,
Is that, we wouldn't want a lot of vehicles sitting out there for a long period of time.
normally, there's only 2 or 3 sitting out there at night. Most of the cars are inside.
Okay. That would be my concern, is the
So
storage.
It's not enforceable, right? Anyway.
Well,
Those vehicles operable that are outside?
Two of them are, and two of them aren't.
There's a couple Volkswagens out there
Yeah. Yeah.
that I noticed.
Both of them
They don't
actually
look
run.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
They're operable?
Yeah. There's two of them out there that don't run.
Okay. I was hoping you were building Volkswagen parts, because I'm a Volkswagen guy.
Well, I do build some Volkswagen parts.
Okay. There's no other questions by the councilman. We'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay?
I guess I should say first, is there gonna be so I'm in favor of it. Is there gonna be anyone, big time against it? Okay, then I'll make the motion. I move to approve the applicant's request for a conditional use permit to use the property located at 503 North Geneva Road for an auto servicing business with the following conditions. 1, vehicles may not be stored outdoors for longer than 72 hours unless the owner is waiting on delivery of parts. 2, no vehicle parts will be stored outside of the building. 3, no auto body work such as replacing metal panels, priming, or painting. 4, only the fabrication and production of auto parts is approved for this business. 5, the applicant will comply with all the mixed commercial special provisions requirements found in section 17.50.120 of the Lindon City Code. And 6, all items of the staff report.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No, the only comment I would have is that it is a conditional use permit. So if there is excess storage and that type of thing, or excess vehicles, it is a conditional use permit, and so that can be, there can be some, review on that.
Okay, so what would be, Commissioner, what would be the limit of vehicles that you would allow outside? Because we have, I'm not disagreeing with you. I have a customer down all the way on the other side of me, to the south of me, that has 25 vehicles out there. And they're all outside, and he's running a dealership. And I have limited vehicles, so 4 or 5, 3,
I would think as long as you meet your customer parking requirements.
Okay.
And, you know, you probably only have so much unit
Yeah.
space available, so as
Yeah.
long as you meet your customer parking and then meet, you know, the, outdoor storage timeframe that the commission's giving you.
okay.
Which is the 72 hours.
72 hours.
Yep.
Unless waiting for parts.
We're waiting to get picked up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not aware of what the circumstances are with the other dealer.
Yeah, I'm not either, but we can look into it.
Okay. Is that a yay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
All in favor, yay? Aye. Any opposed? I think we went through that. I just wasn't sure about that. Good.
Thank you,
Sounds
Mr. Reed.
good.
Okay, thank you.
Since we started that first item, we had our city councilman join us. Lincoln, thank you. Appreciate having you here. The next item is item number 5, a site plan approval from J.Z. Styles. Who will be presenting that? Is that you, Brittany?
Yes.
Okay. And you are?
John Clark.
John? Welcome.
Thank you.
Brittany, we'll turn the time over to you to explain this.
Okay. Let me pull up the parcel map for you. Okay, so item 5 is a request for site plan approval for J.Z. Styles located at 550 Hawks Rise Lane. The applicant is John Clark with Building by John. The property is approximately 2.09 acres and is zoned commercial general within the planned residential development overlay. The applicant is proposing a 31,410 square foot building that will accommodate a variety of uses. I can pull up that site plan for you real quick. The uses within this building primarily consisting of a salon, retail space, office, film and photography studio, warehouse, and fulfillment areas. Staff reviewed the proposed site plan for compliance with the general commercial zoning requirements. The applicant is required to provide a total of 92 parking stalls based on the proposed uses and square footage of the building. The applicant is providing 103 parking stalls, including 98 standard stalls and 5 ADA, which exceeds the minimum parking requirement. The proposed drive aisles range from 24 to 26 feet in width, and they have a fire access route located within the property, and I can highlight that here. It will go here, and it's this pink line that follows it through, and it says fire access route. And it leads to a crash gate that is over here, so that way the fire department can reach the building. And there are some existing hydrants within the property, but providing this will satisfy the requirement for the fire department. And that also provides an additional width here that is about 26 feet in width. Our minimum is 22, but we had requested that that be a little bit bigger, and then providing for that fire access only right here on this side of the property. So again, the proposed drive aisles, they range from the 24 to 26 feet in width, and the fire access route is the 26-foot wide, which includes that crash gate. The applicant is also providing the required 8 bicycle parking spaces. The access to the property will be from Songbird Lane. The property will also benefit from a deceleration lane that UDOT required as part of the development to the north, or northwest, which is this property here, which is now Bank of America. So staff feel that that drive approach into the salon is adequate and will help with this development here.
Brittany, would you point out the access off of State Street into that?
Oh, sure. So off of State Street, they would come all the way down here, and this would be the access. That drive approach into the salon from State Street is approximately 200 feet away from the State Street right-of-way. So coming in from here, that's about 208. Staff also reviewed the landscaping requirements. Let me pull that up as well. Here's the landscaping plan. The project provides both landscaped islands and perimeter landscaping within the parking lot. Based on the plans, it appears that there is enough interior landscaping to meet the required 40 square foot of landscaping per parking stall. However, staff needs to confirm the final calculation with the applicant. I did reach out to the landscape architect, and they are aware of that, so we are working with them on that requirement. The plan also provides additional trees within the interior parking lot landscaping area, exceeding the required ratio of 1 tree for every 10 required parking stalls. Along this public frontage, the project provides landscaping strips. It ranges from approximately 20 to 40 feet. So up here it's about 20, and then as we go down here it's about 40. And the proposed tree planting meets the required 30-foot spacing along State Street. The property meets the minimum lot size, building setbacks, and maximum building height requirements. The building is proposed at 36 feet in height. Let me pull those up for you. Because the building exceeds 30 feet in height, 2 additional feet of building setback is required for every 1 foot in height over 30 feet. So that that had pushed that building to provide approximately 53 feet from the eastern residential property line and 55 feet from the southern residential property line, which satisfies the setback requirement. I can show that on the parcel map. So here it would be 53 from this side to residential and 55 from here, from the building. So that does satisfy those requirements as well. For the architectural design, here is the rendering that staff had received. Staff also reviewed the proposed building against the commercial design standards within the general commercial zone. The building meets the required 60% of pedestrian level fenestration along the primary facade. That facade incorporates a variety of materials and architectural elements, including stone, metal, large storefront windows, and substantial columns at the southwest entrance and along the northwest side of the building and near the northeast balcony, which is shown in this pocket over here. Staff would like to point out that the balconies located along the northeast side of the building will face toward the front setback areas of the residential homes to the east. I can show you that in this rendering here. So here's the northeast, and this is the side that I had showed in the previous picture of that northeast pocket where that balcony would be. Staff finds that the balcony will face the front setbacks rather than the rear yards of the residential properties, and that orientation provides greater separation and privacy for the adjacent residential properties. The building also incorporates several elements to break up that overall massing, which is also a requirement within the commercial design standards. That includes an alcove. Alcove would be this area here and also in the back as well. There is the alcove at that entrance at the salon, a canopy at the retail storefront, balconies on the northeast and northwest side, and then changes in building height and a decorative parapet. Staff also notes that there are changes in materials or decorative features that are approximately every 15 to 20 feet, which helps avoid the large boxy appearance. For the exterior materials, the primary facade consists of stone and stucco with storefront windows oriented towards State Street, and all windows and doors are framed in metal. And we do have also a requirement that a projecting sill is provided at the windows if they are not storefront windows. And over here, can't see it on this side, but there is a projecting sill located at that window. Let me see if I can find it here. So it'd be right here at these two windows, have that projecting sill. So that meets our requirements as well. So overall, this meets the required 60%, the 60% material standard. The design also incorporates changes in materials, window fenestration, and architectural detailing. The roof design includes a sloped roof right above the salon, but the majority of the building utilizes the flat roof with a decorative parapet. The applicant is proposing 4 different colors. They have all been approved with the Lindon City color palette. I do have a rendering of that as well here. So this is the stone that would be on the outside of the building, and then here are the colors that would be associated with that. Also, part of the requirement is that a 7-foot concrete masonry wall be constructed along the residential property boundaries. The applicant is requesting that the required landscape buffer on the commercial side of this wall be reduced from 10 feet to 5 feet. And I can show you where that would be. So here would be the fence line, the 7-foot masonry fence, and then it is also required right here on the south side. So staff find that the reduction is reasonable because the 7-foot masonry wall will continue to provide a substantial buffer between the commercial and residential uses, and that reduction would not adversely affect the overall landscaping percentage on the site. So this is something that staff will need, or Planning Commission will need to approve as part of this site plan approval.
Remind me, what's on where the block wall is being built on the south?
On the south here,
What is in there?
that is the dentist office. Right
What?
here, the dentist office off of State.
So why is there a fence required there?
There's a little residential unit in the back.
Yeah, it's like attached right here. And then here is the residential as well. Oh, okay, never mind.
There's a church and the dentist office, and on the back, there's a little apartment on the back of the dentist office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our ordinance says residential use or residential zone, and since there's a residential use there,
Because of the apartment on the back?
yes.
Okay.
And then that other block wall on the east diagonal, will it be built on the west side of the road? Yes,
Right
okay.
behind the sidewalk.
Right, okay.
So the only side they're asking for a reduction in the landscaping is on the south side. The north side, that's that side where Brittany has her mouse, the pointer, that has enough landscaping.
Okay.
Let me go back to this.
So, once again, to clarify, only the south side is requesting a reduction right here.
Yes, to be 5 feet. This one, we feel that they have plenty of the landscaping there.
And is that just because we want to increase the fire, like we give us more fire access through there, right?
I
What
think
was
it's
the
more
purpose
because
for
of the
that?
size of their building.
Okay.
That could be addressed again when that property to the south is developed into something different too, right? Okay.
Again, the crash gate for the fire department access will also be installed, which again is right here. And the applicant will need to work with staff and the fire department to ensure that the gate meets the applicable code requirements. The other architectural item I want to bring to the commission's attention is the building lighting. I did put this in the staff report for underneath the staff analysis. Maybe it'd be easier to see it on this one. So we did receive a photometric site plan. Currently, it just shows that there are the parking lighting. Right now, we would need to have also lighting on the building and also for the landscaping as well. So staff made a note based on our commercial design standards that those things would need to be added to those plans. The building rendering, it does show the exterior lighting here, but again, it was not added to that photometric plan. So that was something that staff had made a comment to the applicant about. The commercial design standards allow the building light to be used to highlight and articulate the building facades with a primary emphasis at the street level, which they have shown here. And staff is therefore recommending that the applicant provide that updated photometric study and any additional information regarding those proposed building lights. So we will work with them directly on that. Also, we had engineering and other requirements. The city engineer is continuing to work through technical issues associated with the civil plans, and all engineered related items will need to be resolved prior to final approval. There is also a storm drain easement located along the southwest portion of the property, and that can be shown here. Here is that existing storm drain easement. And it goes up this way as well. Let me see if I can, there we go. So it runs along here and then over to the side. So that storm drain easement, the building is set back approximately 41 feet from the easement, and staff have confirmed that no structures are proposed within that easement. That is part of their parking, so we don't have any concern with that. But we did state on there to make sure that there were no deep-rooted trees or structures within those permitted areas, as there will be interior landscaping for the parking as well. And then the property is also located within a flood zone. Right here, this line is where the flood zone is, and I have a better picture of that flood zone, which is right here, and the applicant would be required to complete the floodplain development permit and comply with the applicable floodplain requirements. We didn't find that the building was affected by this floodplain zone. So for the staff analysis and recommendation, staff finds that the proposed building meets the architectural requirements of the general commercial zone. And then again, that item that specifically needs Planning Commission approval is the reduction of the landscape buffer between the commercial and residential zones on the south side of the property. And that is a request to reduce the landscape buffer from 10 feet to 5 feet. Staff finds that the requested reduction will not adversely affect this property or the overall landscaping on that site. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you, Brittany. Mr. Clark, are you an owner or a designer or what?
I'm the builder for the.
You're the builder. Okay, well, it's a beautiful building.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah,
Looking forward to
it is. You've done a good job on that. One question I had, the balcony, what is the balcony's function?
It's in there, so the owners have a private office space upstairs. It's just part of their office space for the most part.
Just a place for lunches and,
Exactly.
okay, not to where the patrons will go and,
No.
okay.
How soon are you hoping to start?
As soon as we can get a permit.
Really? Okay, you're that close then. Good.
Okay. Are there any questions by the Planning Commission
I
about this
just wish all our
building?
commercial buildings looked as good as this. And I think the reduction of the 5 feet on the other side, I don't see how that's gonna negatively affect anything, especially a little bit less landscaping in today's.
They still
water
meet the
situation.
landscaping requirement,
Right.
even with the reduction, right?
Yes, they
Right,
do.
so, yeah, I think it's a great building. I know there was some, we did receive a letter regarding parking on Sonberg Cove Lane on that curve. Is that a city street or is that a?
That is a city street, so that is something that we can look at.
So
Yeah,
we
it
could
does.
maybe red curb both. Okay, I think what we should, I would look into whether we could red curb both sides of that tight corner.
Yeah, we did have our city engineers look at that and see what the best alternative is.
Yeah, because what they pointed out in their letter was that was concerning, if cars can park on both sides of that corner, that needs to be remedied if that's a city street.
Could I address that for just a second? Or that?
Well, this is not a public hearing, but why don't you come forward and,
And the reason I'm here, and my name's Kai Anderson. The reason I'm here is because I got a public notice.
Kai?
345 Songbird.
So in the complex there, okay?
I got a public notice, and you asked here for all interested parties are invited to attend and present oral or written comments. So we are taking comments, because I'm a little
Yes.
bit confused here.
We're having you sit right there so we can take it.
And then I got and I assume you're Michael, right? Nice to meet you, Michael. Then Michael sent me an email saying that if the project meets the city code requirements, then the planning commission has to approve the development. So before I address the parking issue, and I'd like to address that, it seems to me I got a notice saying that I'm welcome to come talk, and Michael basically said, it doesn't matter what you say.
Well, if they meet codes, they will be approved. If there's some issue,
So if that's the case, what I'd like to talk about today is probably more appropriate for city council. What I need to do is I need to come to city council and say, are we taking comments and testimony, and are you going to listen to us? I mean, I went to a lot of effort.
No.
And I was told by Michael it didn't matter what I
and
said.
what your situation is now. When you moved into that complex, you knew that this was going to be a commercial
Right,
pad site. What is your
exactly.
concern?
So my concern, and John, I think that it looks good too, and I hope you're successful. But also, if John doesn't do what he says he's going to do, I assume the city will hold him responsible, right? Because he's coming here and he's presented this, and then if he builds a shack and doesn't put any parking spots in, I think you've got a problem.
He has
Okay.
to build it the way.
And at some point, some developer came in here and presented you a site plan for Songbird. And apparently you guys said that there was enough parking. And it's not true. Okay? Now and Brittany, do you have the pictures that I sent? Because if you do, I'd appreciate, I just went out and took this picture a day or two ago.
Well, we're
Anyway.
addressing his development. Now, let's
But what
not go to
what I want
Songbirds
to show you,
development.
if Brittany wouldn't mind showing,
We don't have the pictures uploaded.
oh, that's fine. On
We've
the
seen
on
the
on the
pictures.
site plan here. Brittany, do you know the corner that I was addressing?
Yes.
Could you just show them that? Because one of the things that Brittany said is she showed you the access, but she only showed you the access from State Street. Now, we know that all the cars that come to this site are not going to be coming from State Street. There are going to be cars that come around this corner. That's about a 120-degree turn right here. And I sent Brittany a picture of, on any given day, it was just the last time I was driving by, I took a picture, and I went out there and I measured the distance between the two cars. There's 15 feet. So you're going to increase, this site plan is going to increase traffic on Songbird Lane, and there's 15 feet between the cars on Songbird Lane. And I just wanted to point that out to you. My husband had a heart attack a few weeks ago, and the fire truck could not get through. They had to go around. The ambulance could not get through, and you had a police officer on site and saw all of this. And when we left, I got in the ambulance to leave, and they said, how do we get out? Because we can't get out that way. Okay? So those were the two things that I wanted to let you know, that you are going to increase traffic on this area with this site plan, and there's 15 feet there. And I also wanted to object to the fact that you guys sent me a letter asking me to come give testimony, and Michael said, it doesn't matter what I say.
Well, that's not exactly what he said, I'm sure.
I feel like that's
But,
what he said.
let me ask you, staff, that project, are they allowed to park on the road,
Yes, they are.
both sides?
I believe so,
I know.
yes.
They do.
I know they do, but I'm not sure Because I remember when we approved that, that was a concern we had. But anyway,
And who are they that usually park there? Residents of Songbird Cove? Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
And specifically, that's the developer's house. And I put this all in my public comments. Because as a resident there, it says that the homeowners association can determine whether or not parking can be done here. So I assume the city's not monitoring it. But the developer it also says the developer can be in complete control of the homeowners association for, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. And so it's one person, there's never been a meeting, there's no input, there's no way that anybody in that neighborhood can make a change happen. And it is, all of this parking is being done right in front of the developers.
now that road that she's referring to, that's not a public road. It is a public road. It goes through the project.
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
And so the homeowners association, they can't determine what happens on that street.
Well, the city's not doing it.
Well, the homeowners association can't make rules for a
Well,
public street.
that's just what it says in our
so
documents.
nobody,
isn't
so
it?
this is the first time we've heard there's an issue.
Uh-huh.
So myself and the city engineers can look into it and they can evaluate what's the best option there.
Right,
And so that,
right. And we will do that, ma'am, and
Yeah, I think that's fair to.
that's fair.
Can I attempt to explain to her another situation that's
Sure.
going on there? You say you feel like this is asked and answered. You're not, there's no thing, your input's not appreciated. Because what happens here is there is a city code and there's city ordinances. Now, we have a difficult time as a planning commission for creating ordinances that are gonna cover everything in the future. And so our job on the planning commission is when somebody comes to us, our sole job is to determine whether or not the project meets the city code's requirements. Now, in this situation, it does. And so when he says to you, we have to do what we have to do, for us to tell Jay-Z Styles, no, you can't do that because of X, Y, and Z, without the legal backing there, he could sue the city for us being in violation of our own laws. So maybe that helps you understand a little bit why we sometimes feel like on the planning commission, we are our hands are sometimes tied because of the city codes that we didn't 100 years ago perceive, oh, there might be a problem here, let's tweak it. So when we come to things like this, that's why it's an opportunity for us now, especially, that's my first question to you, to staff was, is this a city street? The answer was yes. We can now focus on solving that problem.
Yeah.
If this was a public-private street, then it would go back to the HOA, but it's not. So and we saw your pictures that came to us in your letter of the 15-foot measurement, and I was immediately, as a retired police officer, I was very much aware of the hazard there, and that's why I brought it up. So I don't want you to feel like we're not listening to you, but in some cases, our hands are tied.
And I appreciate that explanation. I will give you just one other little background on me. I was on.
You want to come back up?
Yeah, I was on a planning and zoning.
We're online, and they can't hear you online.
I was on a planning and zoning commission for a number of years. And in my former community, we were the fastest growing city in the state of Idaho for 12 years. And I came to a public hearing, and the mayor thought that I made a lot of sense, and he asked me to come sit on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'd like you guys to know that, I don't know for you, but I think it's one of those jobs that you get on the job training, and the pay isn't very good, and everybody complains. So I appreciate your job. And then after I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission, I ran for city council, and I was on the city council. And I actually ran for mayor, too, didn't win that election. And I'm a recovering politician now. So I appreciate what you're doing, but I can tell you that in the city of Ammon, where I served, if anybody would have said to me, you don't have a choice, you have to approve this, it wouldn't have been acceptable for my service on the commission, because then why am I sitting here listening to this? And then when I was on city council, I would have definitely said, this is not what we have a planning commission for. because the thing of it is, and I don't know, maybe John actually lives in the city, but if he doesn't, then it's not your job to even represent John. It's your job to represent the people that live here. And bringing this, this additional traffic is going to impact the neighborhood. And I felt like that's why I was on the commission, was to hear that. And so for somebody to tell me, it doesn't matter, we can't take that into account, that wouldn't have been a reason for me to serve on a public commission. But anyway, but thanks, Scott. I just gonna see it different than you.
At that pad site, one thing I'd point out is that pad site is a commercial pad site. It's going to be developed as a commercial thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you can build that won't create traffic.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
the point is I think you guys need to tell whoever is in charge of making sure that this is an acceptable site, that they need to get it acceptable so that this gentleman can build his building. But right now,
Getting it acceptable, what do you,
that traffic is not acceptable. And so, and the city needs to get that site acceptable so that this gentleman can build his building. Because right now with a 15-foot clearance, where traffic's gonna come
Yeah.
to his building, that's,
I
right
think there
now,
was
it's not
a
acceptable.
traffic study done when the housing development was built,
Yeah.
and it was determined that it would work. Now, you mentioned if he comes in and builds a shack, he won't come in and build a shack because staff won't let him build
I'm
a
not
shack.
speaking against, I'm not speaking against.
I know, but you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And the city received many different proposals for fast food restaurants on this site that would have been permitted on here, that would have had more of an impact
Yes.
on this neighborhood rather than the use that is being proposed.
Right. There was one other letter we received from someone across the State Street. Did you all read that?
Regarding increased traffic on State Street.
Yeah, that it would increase traffic. I don't know. I'm not sure how we prevent any development from increasing traffic on State Street. So I understand the concern, but State Street is a business street.
Rob, you know, in listening to this resident, and appreciate your comments, to me, it doesn't seem feasible to say we're not going to allow the development. To me, what seems right is that we monitor that traffic area and put some
bottleneck.
regulations
And
in place.
Yeah, and staff said they're going to
Yeah,
look at
so
that.
that is a safer place as far as traffic. But I don't think that is something where we would put this development on hold because of that. I think it would be, you know, making sure the traffic patterns there are changed or monitored. I don't know what your opinion on that is.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. Any other input? Jared, anything?
So this is a single-user building, correct? This isn't going to be rentable space and leased out, and so that it's just one user, okay.
They're currently located in Pleasant
Pleasant
Grove,
Grove.
across our border. They purchased the hair school over here off of Lakeview. So they're kind of consolidating all of their
Nice.
business here in Lindon.
You had a section in there that's a warehouse, I think it was like 12,000 square feet, something like that. Purpose for that in this area, it just seems odd to me to have a warehouse combined with this.
So a lot of their business is online sales of hair extensions.
Okay.
So as they get product in, they store it there as it ships out to customers.
I didn't see any truck bays or anything like that.
There's a truck bid.
I missed it.
Sorry.
And while she's pulling that up, our city ordinance allows 20% of a building or 20% of a site as a secondary use.
You need it bigger.
And so that.
So that meets code too.
That would meet the code, yes.
Okay.
All right.
So it's not a busy warehouse. There's not a lot of trucks coming in and out. It's solely for
Their product,
product.
okay.
I just have one other question. Where this is a site plan approval, the planning commission will make the decision on this. This is not something that will go to city council, is that correct? Okay.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion. I move to approve the applicant's request for site plan approval with the following conditions. The applicant will continue to work with city engineer to make all final corrections to the engineering documents. Number 2, the plan will meet development specifications as found in the Lindon City Development Manual and City Code. The landscape plan and percentages will meet the city code requirements. 4, the final exterior material design will meet the commercial design standards for commercial sites and buildings. And 5, the roof design is approved as designed. The applicant will complete the floodplain development permit. An updated photometric study will be provided to and approved by city staff. 8, no deep-rooted trees or structures shall be placed in the storm drain easement. 9, the applicant will comply with all bonding requirements if applicable. And 10, all additional items of the staff report.
And you'll,
We could add to that, that staff will review the parking situation on.
Is that really, I don't know, I think
That's
totally
two
separate. I think it's
Is
two,
it?
that's two separate issues.
a 5-foot reduction in the landscape.
Oh, 5-foot reduction.
Oh, yes, and we should okay, and it doesn't say that. And then I will say, no, number 11 would be that we approve the 5-foot reduction of the landscaping on the south side of the property. Only.
Okay,
I second that motion.
Yes.
motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And then staff, we will have staff, staff is committed to come look at that situation for you. You bet. Thank you. Steve Johnson is here now. Why don't you come forward, Steve, and Ryan's going to be excused. Maybe you could stay with us if you can.
That's really simple. All you do is go to curb both sides of that corner.
Thank you.
Red curb it, it's done, move on. Yeah, it's not a hard fix.
Okay, item number 6, plat amendment for Lindon's Edge. Michael, would you present that item and for discussion and
Yeah.
questions?
So the Lindon Edge development is located about 126 to 140 South Main Street. There's currently a reception center on the site, and then there's 2 office buildings that have been constructed. So in 2019, this was presented to you for site plan approval, and then 2020, in 2021, you approved a 3-lot subdivision, and I believe in 21, actually, you approved a condominium plat for those first 4 buildings.
Could we get somebody just to close that door so we can hear a little better?
So this parcel map from the county shows.
Thank you.
Shows the 3 lots, and then 4 of the buildings, or 2 of the buildings that have been built, and the 4 that have been condominiumized. So after the 2 buildings were built, there was some issues between property owners and developer. There were some lawsuits, and those have now been settled. And the new developer for the office buildings is proposing to reduce the project in size. So reduce that from 14 units, 14 buildings down to 5 buildings. And then also amend the lot lines for those 3 lots on the property. So here's the proposed site plan. So you'd have these 2 buildings that will be built. So you'll have these 2 buildings that'll be finished, and then this 3rd building here for a total of 5 buildings. The parking, there's 245 parking stalls available for this development. When this project was originally approved, there was a shared parking between the reception center and the office building. So when the reception center was proposed, it required a minimum 238 parking stalls. And so right now, this shows 245 stalls on there.
Will that continue to share?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, nothing changes with that site plan approval condition that was approved with the site plan process. So here's the new subdivision plat. I've got for the property with the 3 lots. Let me show you, I got another one here. Okay. So lot 1 is outlined in red. The hashed area is what the size of lot 1 with the proposed amendment. And then lot 2, again, this is the existing lot 2, and then the blue hashed area will be what's added on to lot 2 as part of this plat amendment. So you're reviewing two plat amendments, one for the property and one for the condominium project.
Okay.
Let's see. So here's the condominium plat. Each building has 3 units. The first 2 buildings that were built were kind of unique. They were actually a 4-unit building. You had each unit vertically, and then the basement was a unit just for storage that one of the units could purchase if they wanted storage in the basement. Because of the ceiling height, it was purposely done at 9 feet so that it couldn't be finished out for future office space. It could only be storage. The one change for the new buildings is that now it'll go vertically all the way down. And so someone who buys unit 3, for example, will have all 3 levels.
Yeah.
And so that is kind of what you're amending from 14 buildings down to 5, and then amending the condominium plat so it's vertical units for the 3 levels on there.
Each unit has their basement storage.
Yes. The renderings stay the same. I don't have a picture of those, but they'll be exactly as the 2 buildings that have already been constructed.
You see, those buildings were built by
Davies
Richard
Design.
Davies, right? Yeah, Davies.
yeah.
And this is now Prowse?
Prowse, yes.
Is there someone from Prowse here tonight? Would you like to come up so we can ask you a question or two when he's finished presenting? Thank you.
So I think that's it. The staff recommended a number of conditions for the 2 plat amendments that are in your staff report. Basically that they'll continue to work with us on any final technical issues for this development.
All right. Thank you. Any input or anything you'd like to present that staff has not presented?
I think staff's done a great job, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work with, and it's done a fantastic job throughout the process. We're just trying to get this project sort of cleaned up and finalized in a way that sort of puts a bow on something that's been dangling out there for some time.
Will the buildings look similar to the other buildings?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
They'll look basically the same.
Okay.
Really, the difference is internal, that each unit will have its own basement area now,
Right.
instead of that 4th
Common,
unit as a whole basement.
Okay.
Wasn't a functional design.
Okay. Sounds good.
But only 5 buildings total
Correct,
instead of the 14.
correct.
I see a hand. Would you like to come up, please? Thank you.
Commissioners, Richard Gell, Terry Gell. That's my house right there in the corner. Right there where all the parking spaces are. And my neighbors and I were here several years ago when you approved I remember some of you. And we're happy that the project got downscaled because of the traffic concerns. What's different that we're concerned about is the lack of landscaping along the wall that abuts the private property from the commercial property. There was supposed to be landscaping there.
On the south of the wall or the north of the
Right.
wall?
On all sides of the wall, as I remember. the
On,
original
on
plans.
your side of the wall or
Well, my
their
side of the wall, I have my own landscape.
Right.
But we weren't gonna have parking right against the wall there. So that's right in my backyard and my neighbor's backyard as well. And so there's concern that the change in the design doesn't include some kind of buffer or landscape between the wall and the private property. And so we would like to have the planning commission at least consider
And that's
that
a,
as a requirement.
that's a 7-foot wall?
7-foot wall, and there will be landscaping here. I think that's calling out 12 feet, if I remember.
It didn't look like it when I got the notice.
Yeah, actually, looks like it's 18 feet right here. So this landscaping has always been part of Phase 2, when those other buildings would be built, and so,
We
yeah.
never saw any landscaping at all between 2019 and
Yeah,
now.
they-
It's just
they-
a lot of dead.
This is phase 2.
Okay.
And the lighting is an issue?
The lighting is another issue. We've all had the parking lot lights from the previous development are shining into our windows, and so we'd like to have that at least addressed.
I recall we had some discussion about the previous developer putting some trees there.
There will be.
And,
Yes.
well, again, it hasn't been done because this is phase 2, but I would think that the developer could maybe talk to you about some different species that would fit our guidelines and maybe fill in some of that area.
Where are the lights that are shining?
They're in the parking lot over on the east side in this drawing. We like having a lit parking lot, just don't want them shining into our window.
Yeah.
And then we just want some privacy from the construction and the businesses. The buildings that are already there can look into my home. And so I put up my own landscaping in the meantime, but I'd like some more. So it's a very long wall on both sides. So
What is going to be called for there, Michael? Trees?
Yes, we require trees when there's next to residential, similar to the previous application you just heard. There'll be trees along
So
there.
the light,
The 7-foot fence.
that should be resolved in this
Yeah,
phase
we'll
of
have-
development.
we're very happy with the new design. We're happy to see it getting developed.
Good.
So.
Was there a photometric study done initially?
I don't think
See,
there
isn't there a
was.
breakaway gate right there for the fire?
Sorry.
Isn't there a breakaway gate for the fire department?
Well, yeah, there's a gate that was put in by the new property owners for the.
It's never been used.
It was not there for a long time. It was put in and
Right.
taken out by the previous builder, and there was just a fence leaning against there. That was a big issue, but I
Yeah.
think that's been resolved.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So here's the original 2019 landscape plan. So yes, it shows trees all along there.
We'd like to just preserve that part of the plan.
Sure.
Which will be installed.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
When the buildings come to planning commission, I mean, they'll totally do the plan again, showing.
Site plan,
The
yeah.
site plan will show all that, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently the lawsuit held it up for quite a few years, so
Understandable.
we're just glad we can move forward.
Okay. Any other input, Michael? Any questions?
Are those units divisible into separate rentals per level, or is it meant to be one occupant for all 3 levels?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
And
I'm
3
stoked.
per building.
top to bottom. That's a unit.
Yeah, but can it be divided into 2 or 3 units to rent out the top floor of one tenant, the middle, or?
Condominium, so it's a single condo that has 3 floors.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just wondering if the intention of some owners who buy that would be to put multiple tenants in one
My
condo
assumption is
unit.
that would be illegal, and people do illegal things,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Staff
we
will
can
have-
look at, we can talk to the developer, maybe there's a note on the plat or something like that that we need to add. We'll look into that, though. I think that's a good, maybe they're updating their CCNRs, we'll look at both of those things.
Okay. Scott?
Is this the item, I read through all these items, is this item, there's some mention about potential residential use somewhere in the future?
People have discussed that with us, yes. Possibly lot 3, but that'll be up whether the developer sells that or not.
That's currently being used by the event center.
Yes, and the other thing is the parking. I mean, unless we do another analysis of the reception center, and I don't remember what year that was when that got its conditional use permit, but it needed 238 parking stalls. Now, we've changed our parking standard for reception centers, so we'd have to look at that again. But this is 245 stalls right here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is that reception center, is that functioning at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions by,
So the
Commissioners?
lighting is something we can look into? Or you're saying it will be
Yes,
solved with
yeah,
the
we've
trees?
worked with other businesses that, we've had one of the car dealerships over here, AC Auto, we had them direct their lights down further. Yeah, there shouldn't be any light trespass, and so we can look at that.
okay,
Okay, that'd be great.
all right. Okay, with that discussion, I'll be open to a proposal.
One of my questions is on this motion, it says I move to recommend. So
And
does
you
it go
just
to
have to
city
fix-
council where
sorry.
it's a major subdivision?
It's when we reuse some
No.
staff reports. So I move to approve the applicant's request.
Okay, I was just confused on that.
Yeah, I think I reused the staff report from 2019 at that time.
It's changed.
Yes, it
um,
was.
We
The
don't,
major
we-
subdivision did go to
Yeah.
the city council.
time it did go to city council, yep.
Okay.
Now, they'll come back with plans.
Right.
or
They'll,
building permit.
their next is to record their subdivision plat, then submit building plans to staff for
Okay,
review.
good.
But I think the question is, there's not going to be a new site plan, though.
No,
So we will not see
Building plan.
building plans or layout or.
Oh,
no, the
Any of them.
2019 site plan approval still is in effect. It's just being scaled back.
okay.
Even though that site plan was for 14 units
Yes,
and this is for 5?
yes. So we didn't feel, looking at our codes, that it was necessary to bring back to you, having it scaled down.
Okay,
Our ordinance gives a percentage, like if there's a 9% or a 20% or 40% increase in building size, then at a certain percentage, it comes back to you for approval. Anything above 9% of a building addition or expansion of a site comes back to you. Where they were decreasing the development size, we didn't feel that it was necessary to bring back for site plan approval.
And then just to clarify that, then that site plan as far as the landscaping plan holds.
That's right.
So that when you pulled up, that will continue. I think that's the big question to ask, is make sure that all those, because there's a lot of trees and a lot of things around buildings that don't exist now. And so I guess that's the question, is where do all those go?
Now, the project this won't, just so we're clear, again, this has been updated since then, because we called out some additional landscaping. They won't be put, because the project will end here, and so this landscaping won't be put in, or this landscaping, because that's still part of the reception center.
So that's would be phase 3 if there's another phase, but there isn't one right now.
Right. So this landscaping will go in, but not the one next to, let me go back to their site plan.
There's more. On that side.
Well, maybe.
But there's
But
parking.
it does show some area here. I don't know, I'll have to work that out with the developer. Maybe Gavin can talk about that, the developer.
And I guess that's my only concern, is to move this on without a new site plan, without understanding what we really are agreeing to on that. We have parking, we have all this, it seems to be part of a site plan, right, for the reception center. That's my only question, is how do we know what stands there on that? And so that there's not conflicts later that we think the only site plan we have says this, how do we go off it?
Yeah, I think this is the only area that may need some clarification here.
And that is
whether
not
there's-
even on the site plan for the project here.
That's right.
So it's hard to make them do it, but maybe the reception center. We'll have to look.
I
into
don't know if
that.
we could require the reception
know.
center to do that, but the developer maybe he will be rounding this with the landscaping. That'd be a good question to ask him.
Okay.
Can we get a commitment for that? I mean, before you approve it, that there's gonna be landscaping there, 'cause it's certainly not on the site plan. 'Cause I'm looking
We
at-
can't require, well,
We could ask him.
we can't require him to do it because it's not on his plan. Part of his,
That's what my concern is.
so
Are we just talking about the landscaping there
Along the wall.
Just
why
as,
don't you point to it again?
That's gonna be
Yeah, right
consistent
there.
with
Area right there.
the original, site plan.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Is there a landscaping plan with this site plan? Because you're absolutely right.
because you're not approving site plan approval, you're approving subdivision,
We're
you're
just doing
amending the plat.
subdivision plat at this point.
Now we're just
We just need to
clarifying.
See how it's cut up.
Yeah.
Because it is being,
No, I think as a planning commission, we just wanna ensure that that landscaping, it gets put in back of the residences there, like it was shown on the original
Yeah,
site plan that was approved.
This will definitely go in. My question was about this
Yeah.
section.
And that's not on their plan.
Right,
Part of their plan.
but
So
again,
there's a gray
but
area.
I think we can assure everybody that
Yes.
you know, that east boundary of those homes, that's gonna go in for sure.
I mean, you could make that a condition of approval, I think, because you're approving an amendment to the lot lines, and to meet the intent of the original site plan approval, I think you could call that out as a condition of approval.
Yeah, I guess that's my only concern. I haven't seen anything, and so knowing exactly what we're approving.
How would the developer
Well, here's
feel
your site
about that?
plan here. I mean, this is the site plan for the subdivision. So you're approving an amendment to just do those 5 buildings.
We're approving amended plat right now, we just want to ensure that the landscaping plan still remains.
Yeah, which is part of a typical
Yeah.
site plan, which we're not reviewing.
Right.
and it's a completely different site plan.
I think that's all understood, but it's that other east and west strip that is the gray area. We don't know.
Yeah, what I
Now,
would do
we
is.
can make a condition that he has to install that, but he's installing it on somebody else's property.
Yeah,
So
but he
he
could
would
do a
have to-
landscape easement or something like that on the
Wouldn't he have
plat,
to go to
or-
the reception center?
I believe you own all of this, so.
Portion that we're talking about, and sorry, excuse me, sir, what's your name again?
It's Richard, yeah.
And that might be the easiest way to make that condition is that the landscaping from the original site plan that is adjacent to Richard's property will be installed consistent with the original.
On both sides?
What do you mean both sides?
Well,
It'd be
point to it
right
again.
here and here.
Make sure you're following. It's right there. You see it?
So we're talking about the.
This, I don't know if you can see that, this area,
But we know that's going in.
and then the north side of this
This is
single
what we're
family.
talking about.
You can't, because it's not
Ultimately, this
part
is
of the
a-
project.
This is a plat amendment, this is not a site plan amendment that's before the commission today. So, I mean, I'm trying to be flexible, but at the end of the day, I don't want this to be more than it's supposed to be legally. And, we're gonna work with people, but I don't think it's prudent to agree to a set of requirements that are more than the law requires at this juncture. This is just a plat amendment.
Who owns, well, let's put the parcel up again.
Rob, I think some of us are thinking one thing and some are thinking another, because.
And just help me understand why there isn't a new site plan. I mean, that's my only question, right? Legally, if things have changed so much, why, but if that's,
Well,
Like explained that.
like I explained to you, because.
Because it's
It's not
decreasing.
increasing in.
Okay.
It's decreasing the density there.
I
But-
guess I'm confused as to who is the owner of that wall.
Well, whether he's the
That
owner or
lot's
not,
g-
it's outside of the scope of what we're
Yeah.
deciding
Yeah.
tonight, so we really
I
can't
know,
force
but I
him to
wanna
turn
know
that
who
corner
owns it.
and be
Is
the
it the
north side of
reception
their
center,
property.
or is it Prowse?
So Lindon's Edge LLC.
Lindon's Edge is the entity that owns lot 2 and lot 3, or the condo project common area and lot 3.
So Lindon's Edge owns this lot
Makes more sense to me
and
now.
this lot.
So,
All we're taking is we're just amending it to take a portion of that one into this one.
Yes.
Exactly.
And lot 1 and lot 2 are taking a portion of this one.
So we're not even if we did another site plan
it
approval.
would
would
end
not
with
cut-
light,
yeah.
it would end with lot
It
two.
would still would
That's-
not.
No, we can
wrap
only
around
deal
the
with the
corner.
east boundary of the residents
Okay,
there.
that helped clarify.
I'm sorry, I don't feel like it's more clear to me. Is there a commitment to put in landscaping there or not?
Where?
On your east
Right,
property
right
line.
here, there is.
Yes.
Right here,
There's a commitment.
There's
to put it in
commitment right
east
there.
of that wall,
yeah,
but not north of that.
Fair enough.
because it's
Other-
outside of this project.
When
so.
they develop that piece in the
They were
future, if they
originally
do,
supposed to, but,
that,
yeah.
if they develop that in the
Well,
future.
when it develops, it'll need to
They'll
be
be
taken care of
addressed.
at that point, when that other lot develops. Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That's what I was struggling.
Okay,
So are we needing an additional
I don't think,
condition on that?
no, I don't think so, because it's just dealing with the one parcel.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion,
Okay,
and the motion will be exactly the same as it is written. Okay. I move to recommend approval.
Sorry, I mean to approve.
Excuse me. And I asked that question on the recommend too. I moved to approve the applicant's request for preliminary approval of the Lindon's Edge Office Condominium Plat A, First Amendment, and Lindon's Edge Plat A, First Amendment, with the following conditions. The applicant will continue to work with city staff to make all final corrections to the plat for recording. 2, prior to the plat recording, the applicant will provide staff with a final plat Mylar to include notarized signatures of the owner's consent to dedication as identified on the attached subdivision plat. 3, prior to recording, the applicant will provide staff with a final set of CCNRs and bylaws to include notarized signatures. 4, the plat will meet the applicable requirements as found in the Lindon City Development Manual. 5, all covenants, conditions, and restrictions will be recorded with the subdivision plat. And 6, all items of the staff report.
okay, you have a motion. I have a second.
I'll second that.
Gary? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. You have an approval of that, item 6. Item 7 is a public hearing, a general plan amendment for 1200 East Street Master Plan. David Gardner has filed a application. Is David here?
That's him,
Why
right?
don't you come forward, David? And Michael, are you the presenter on this? Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So the city has received an application for a general plan amendment to reduce the roadway width between these 4 homes that are next to this yellow clouded area, 663 through 711, 770 east, 770 north. This aerial photo on the screen there shows the future 800 north, 1200 east right-of-way that is on the city's master plan. With the application, it wasn't identified what the reduction what reduction is requested for in the general plan. So the roadway is currently identified as a minor arterial, which is a 66-foot right-of-way. The other categories or designations of streets that we have are we've got a major arterial, minor collector, minor collector, and then a local street. Those are our 5 designations in the general plan and in our development manual. 4 of those are all 66-foot right-of-ways. The road is currently a 66-foot right-of-way as planned. Last July, in 2025, we changed that classification from a collector to a minor arterial. Our city engineers reviewed some different roads in the city. Let me pull that up really quick. So the different roads highlighted or clouded in gray were changed to minor arterial roads within the city. Prior to that, earlier last year, you and the city council had received an application from Mr. Gardner to get rid of eliminate the 1200 East, 800 North roadway. The city council and the planning commission, their vote was to keep that on the general plan master plan map. After that meeting early last year, when the council voted to keep it on the map, the mayor, Lindon's mayor, Pleasant Grove's mayor at that time, and city staff met with Pleasant Grove engineers, and we discussed an alternative roadway design for that, reducing the asphalt width. So keeping the same 66-foot right-of-way, but reducing the asphalt width to 36 feet. Now, this trail would be on the hillside side, so it's access to the foothills. So you'd have a 14-foot park strip. So that 14-foot that's this area here that it was dedicated to the city with the Highlands at Bald Mountain development. It was dedicated in 2 sections. This was dedicated with the majority of the development, and then this small section was dedicated with the last couple of lots. Sorry, it's not clicking on there very well. There you go. So that road profile is something that we discussed.
So the trail would be on the south edge?
The trail would be on the hillside edge.
Oh, north edge and the east
and then the
edge.
planter strip would be in that area that's already dedicated to the city. The reason why that would be a park strip for now is be reserved in case we need that in the future for expansion.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. One of the major issues, if you look at our roadway here, so almost 80% of this future roadway is within Pleasant Grove boundaries. We have 14 feet of that. The rest of that 66 foot is within Pleasant Grove. So we can't really change road profiles or reduce the road width or by ourselves without working in conjunction with Pleasant Grove City to adopt a new standard. When we left that meeting, everybody seemed to be on board with this concept of reducing that asphalt width, and now that hasn't been adopted. Pleasant Grove City was in the process of working with Ivory Homes on developing the Millet property, which is this area here. Because of a lot of constraints on the property, Ivory Homes backed off that project. And so at that time, both Pleasant Grove and Ivory Homes were in favor of that alternative design for the roadway. So in your staff report, I kind of gave you the history again of this roadway and things. Brittany and I met with the neighbors, we talked over their application, on July 20th. However, the city still hasn't received what the residents and Mr. Gardner want the designation to be reduced to. Those are the categories we have, the major minor arterials, major minor collector, the local street. As for a general plan amendment, you have to pick one of those, as part of your application. And so at this point, we are uncertain how the residents want to move forward. City staff, we do recommend denial of this application. The Planning Commission and City Council last July just adopted the minor arterial street. We have worked with Pleasant Grove City. Now, we don't have anything adopted yet, but both cities seem to be on board to work with each other on that. So those are the reasons for denial and recommendation from city staff.
Where this street goes over, it goes over and it's planned to hook into Orem too also, right?
Yeah, I mean, it connects.
Is that by Dry Canyon there below?
Yeah, eventually it'll connect in here to 1200 East that's already been built.
That's already designated as a 66-foot road.
Well, it's already a built road.
Yes, that's correct. And then it does connect into
Yeah.
Orem here.
And that's about a 67 or 66 foot road. Okay. Mr. Gardner?
Yeah.
Any comments, or can you shed any light on?
Yeah, you bet. Can I show you this? I'm a little bit visual.
Sure.
It's taken, as you guys know, we've been here before. It's taken us 4 years and 5 separate grandma requests to actually get that information that you just were shown, and we weren't even shown that information in the meeting that we just had with the staff. So I'm wondering why, when they have some great solutions like that in mind. In fact, Mike, if you remember, I specifically asked to meet so that we could discuss some solutions, and here it is, the first time that we're actually seeing these solutions. So one of the frustrating things for us has been, the reason I'm handing you this is because this is also something that had to be collected over these grandma requests instead of, and you can see I actually had to stitch it together. So I would much rather prefer that staff actually provide us a full view of this so that you can see. I think you probably all saw my picture previously when I came to this. Here's one, Commissioner Scott. So when I came here previously, I showed you my lot where the slope easement was running actually through my house. So because we were able to collect over multiple grandma requests, these notices, I was able to stitch together my other neighbors' houses to show you where this slope easement, the actual right-of-way runs, and maybe hopefully to prevent this in the future as a planning commission. Because either these houses were supposed to go in or the road was supposed to go in. But it doesn't appear that both of them were supposed to go in because again, that slope easement actually runs through my home. So which was it? Was my house supposed to be approved and platted onto this, or was the road supposed to go in? The other thing that I would actually ask this commission to do in the future is that when these types of easements are in play, I would ask the commission to actually require it that the city notify any homeowner, not just the homeowner beware, you have to come find this information. It's taken me 4 years to actually get this information, and an attorney. So I would suggest that as the commission, if Lindon City, that we should, if we're gonna have these easements, types of easements running through properties, that it would be the city's responsibility to notify any homeowner in future cases.
Let me just ask you to explain what we're looking at here. So
the orange
dotted line
is a slope easement. So if
is
they
that
were
where your properties end?
Yeah, so my house is this one on the far right over here.
Right.
And the orange line represents the slope easement, so the ability of the road to slope into our homes, right? So the orange, it's kind of a lighter orange blue dotted line, that's the construction easement. So they have the right to move that far into our properties to actually build the road. And then the actual right-of-way is a yellow-blue dotted line, and then you can see the Lindon Pleasant Grove property line is a yellow line
Where is your
up there.
property line?
So my property line is the yellow-blue dotted line.
So the second line down.
Yep, the second line down.
And you want to move it?
I would like to, yeah, absolutely, but,
What you want?
well, I mean, I would love to move this whole freaking road out of
Well,
the general plan, obviously.
my
but-
understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you wanted to be able to purchase this piece from the city?
So I don't want to get too far off track. What Mike just presented as a solution, so that 30-foot asphalt roadway with, you know, a walkway on one side of it and potentially some gardening on the other side of it, could be a possible solution that the planning commission needs to, I guess, review. What I'm asking for is the planning commission to go against the staff's recommendation and actually approve this so that the city council can then review it in a little bit more depth and come up with, the city staff actually prepared 3 different proposals for Pleasant Grove during that meeting. Again, not available to anybody publicly to review or discuss, but we were gratefully able to get this through a grammar request to Pleasant Grove City. So this is Noah Gordon recommending 3 different solutions to our problem here. So staff wants us to come up with a solution to present to you, whether it should be 66 feet or 50 feet or 36 feet, and they've already done the work. So what we're confused about is why aren't these, what we're asking you here today is to approve that process that was just presented right there. That would be a great solution with a couple of exceptions. One is that you go back to the original agreement, which is done in 2009, and put the retaining wall in that the planning commission discussed at that point in time for our subdivision plat map agreements. So we would like a retaining wall so that these slope easements, as you can see, don't run through our homes, and the construction easements as well. So one consideration for that walkway that potentially is to also include a retaining wall so that we don't have our entire backyards and houses removed. But I think that what Mike presented is a great solution. Shrink the size of the road, maybe remove a sidewalk, put in a walkway or a trail. It's been discussed. We just want it to move forward so that a new developer doesn't come in and utilize the full current general plan as it is existing. If we wait until a developer comes in, and I was a developer, I would maximize the space that I was given, which would mean I would use every one or every part of the easements. It's just the most.
Let me ask clarification. So what you're saying is what staff showed with the walking path and bike path, if the south edge of that path was at your current property line, that would be.
But the design of the road doesn't have anything to do with the request.
It's the easement.
The request is about the general plan. Correct. About minor or major arterials or collectors. It's not about the design. That's something for Lindon and Pleasant Grove to work out. The application is to amend the general plan, and those are the designations we have.
If we were to amend the general plan, it would prohibit these other options, or it would lessen our ability to give us these options. So we need to maintain that 66 foot right of way so that we have options in the future. Just like when we talked about the 1200 quarter, it's not happening tomorrow, so it's really hard to throw in specific rules now that will affect something maybe years down the road.
Well, that section is potentially gonna be developed in the next couple of years. I think that's.
Correct.
That's the reason why there's some sense of urgency to maybe solve this that's correct, am I correct?
Yeah, exactly right.
So, yeah, I think the whole, making that whole road connect is maybe years down the road, but this is more imminent, I think.
But I guess, Mike, let me just ask a question on, we have the different profiles, right, that we can choose. I don't think as a planning commission, we get to choose any of those. That's something the developer, right, depending on, or.
Well, that's what the applicant needed to bring to us, isn't that my understanding?
A new profile, but
So.
by zoning, can you say this profile only in this zone? I guess that's.
You follow the general plan. let's see. I don't know if
Right,
I-
which would be a 66-foot road, but.
Yeah, you follow this map, identifying what color road in what section, and then you use the cross-section here that tells you what, how the road should be designed. So what needs to happen is Pleasant Grove and Lindon work together on adopting a new road profile.
And then would
for
it be
that.
called a new?
Minor collector trail
Minor
or
collector
something.
trail or something like
Yeah.
that. And so then that's what we would change it to at that time.
Yes.
But until that exists, right, there's nothing we can do as far as changing it because it doesn't exist.
That's right.
And the wait is kind of for a developer on the Millet property, is it Millet?
Yeah, that's where we were heading, is working with that developer and Pleasant Grove on coming up with a new cross-section.
But you're saying that developer's gone away.
That's right.
Ivory, yeah.
And if I understand correctly, if we were to reduce that road and make it not a major or minor collector, then the federal transportation funds for either the construction or the maintenance of that road would go away too. So we'd be making a financial decision for our city as well as for PG. And
Yeah.
so for us to do that here tonight, I don't know that that's the right track.
Yeah, Mountain Land Association of Governments has told us that it needs to be a minor arterial street to be able to get any funding through them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I think as Mike's saying, and I think the application is kind of putting the cart before the horse. Until we get this new profile, this application, we can't add anything to this application. And so I think that's our consideration tonight. I would say is probably, we're not going to recommend to go to a smaller street because of all the complications with that. I think we can just recommend staff to continue to work with Pleasant Grove to try to work out these solutions. That's kind of where I'm going on that.
Yeah, I don't feel like we can go ahead with anything on it.
Right.
Did you have any conversations with Ivory Homes when they had it under contract?
Yeah, that's actually,
Do they
the
have a
road is
solution?
one of the major reasons that they backed out. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. You're building a road to nowhere, and then the other problem is when you visit with Pleasant Grove, they don't care about that road at all. There's only one group that cares about that minor arterial road right now, and that is Lindon City, and particularly one gentleman in Lindon City that signed those roads. So what the frustration is when you go visit with the developers, they don't want the roads. It's far more feasible for them to put a row of houses behind there because there's already 2 inlets into that development. So when you start forcing them to put a road there that goes to nowhere, remember, because they can't finish it across the top, then they look at it and say, well, why am I spending $1.5 million to $2 million putting a road, even if it's only 36 feet of asphalt and a trail, why am I spending $1.5 million to end it 5 houses in? And so I think the Millets are gonna have a real hard time dealing with that because they've got some other complexities with the property, but the road is the other major issue. The other thing is, you can see if Mike, if you would go back to that one with the yellow stripes on it, the roads don't align. So one of the other issues is that Pleasant Grove is they're friendly, just they're easy to work with. They talk you through these designs that they're willing to do. It's what you've got to understand is property owners right now, what do we have? We've been at this 4 years. We've been at this council now twice with no solutions other than, like I just said, we just met with Mike and Brittany. Very helpful, very, very great. But why weren't we given an idea that they're actually working on this? Only through the grandma request do I find out that they met with Pleasant Grove City on July in 2025. Why is that information hidden? Why isn't it transparent?
I'll respond to that. It was in the staff report, so I put it in the staff report. After our meeting, I had forgotten that we had worked on a road profile. I remember that we had met, but I forgot that we had put a concept road profile together. So I didn't have that for the meeting. So that's why I included it in your staff report. And Mr. Gardner got a copy of that last Friday as well, so.
So that's the first I'm seeing it, last Friday, right?
Now, your comment about a road to nowhere, that's not quite accurate. I mean, there are others, Orem is concerned about this road. tying into Orem. And
I don't think Orem's concerned. I've sat
I
through
think
those
they
meetings
are.
as well.
I know people that have talked about it there.
We've obviously done the traffic study report, and then we've also had the Temple open house. It'll prove to you that the traffic is not there to justify this. Or Lindon City itself wouldn't be proposing a 36-foot asphalt road. Obviously, the traffic is...
36?
Yeah, 36-foot asphalt road with a 10-foot trail on the side. This is from Noah Gordon, the Lindon City engineer. So
Well,
they were-
36 is just Lindon's share of the road.
No, that's the total
Go back to
road
that
length, and that's what Mike just explained to you as well.
And I actually, Brittany just reminded me, because I copied her on the email, I sent him and Mr. Gardner an email right after the meeting too, letting him know about these issues. So it wasn't until when the staff report came out, it was right after our meeting.
Okay, again, our meeting was just like 2 weeks ago. We've been working on this for 4 years. Does that make sense? This is not a transparent issue with
Mike, can you
Lindon
show us
City.
that profile again?
Yes.
Just,
And just
I mean,
also-
I just, because to me, there was a middle turn lane. I mean, and then plus there was the easement on the side, so that if it needed to, I don't think I think they're trying to come up with a solution, but I don't think they're saying we're
We're not moving the roadway.
they're not moving the roadway, and they're not saying it has to, I mean, any roadway with a middle turn lane is a significant road. I mean, so I don't think that's saying that.
It's
To me,
clear-
as I look at it, this road doesn't just go to nowhere.
Right.
It actually what will connect the whole flow of systems all the way down to the freeway, when all that's done. It might not happen in my lifetime, I don't know.
Rob, it looked like Juan could shed some light on
Yeah.
it, maybe.
And one thing too is these roads, I mean, one of the things that Utah County is experiencing right now is we're a narrow valley with the lake on one side, mountains on the other, and there isn't a whole lot of flat open space where you can develop. So these features that we have on master plans are really hard to throw away. Juan, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just, the reason why we came up with that cross-section was just thinking out of the box. If it's gonna be a connecting road, we felt like we could narrow it instead of having, the way it was proposed, it was 2 lanes each way, offsetting, and that was just the reason for constructability. And we can make it just a single lane going each way, because if there is an accident or something that we need to get around, we needed it to be double. With this concept, we said, okay, let's narrow it. It's just a connecting road from point A to point B, and we'll have the center lane there so we can actually put emergency vehicles through it. And then, because there is no houses on the east side.
Yet.
And that's why the 12-foot center median, rather than not 10-foot.
Well, one, to me, this proposal is just to directly benefit those residents in those 4 homes. Is that accurate?
3
or not?
homes.
Well, it's just to make the connection,
Right,
make it less, easier to build, cheaper to build,
right,
and still accomplish what we were talking about.
right. But it would very much benefit those 4 homes.
Well, it's just to come around. When we end up on 800 North, Lindon, that's where we only own a small part of it,
Right.
14 feet. But then we are working with Pleasant Grove to see what that road width is going to go in between Lindon and Pleasant Grove. So that's why we were thinking out of the box, trying to make this road more easier to construct and still accomplish the same thing. That's why we're able to. We still have the 66-foot right-of-way,
Right,
but the asphalt width is just to get the vehicles. There's no parking on both.
So are you saying that the as it rounds the curve, when it separates into 2 roads on the existing, that would go away? Because we do this narrow one, we'd be able to just keep that 36-foot one all the way down to a tight.
Right, and it's all concept, right? We were able to put it in there. We still have to deal with the slopes.
Yes.
But that was just thinking out of the box to make it.
And
but we really can't, I mean,
Yeah, we
it's
still
a
need to keep this-
concept. We really can't do anything
Correct.
without Pleasant Groves.
Correct.
You need that 66.
So the 66-foot right-of-way still, we want to preserve it so we can have area to work with.
I'll just jump in here. In 2009, when the Blackscott development was approved, it was approved with a lot of vagueness and a lot of unknown facts. So you keep referring to the fact that we can't move forward and choose a plan design and then work with Pleasant Grove City. That inlet that is now on the north kind of, I guess, what is that, west side of our subdivision, you guys approved, Lindon City Planning Commission approved this subdivision going in without even an inlet into that community, on the hope that the county would agree, on the hope that Mr. Millett would agree, and a hope that the developer would pay for that lot. So here we are talking
No, wait a
about
minute.
things needing to be.
I don't understand what you just said.
See,
He's talking about
They
this.
approved it with.
yes, right there, that lot, right, that road, when this subdivision was agreed to, was not even in existence. There were so many things that were not concrete at the point that this subdivision was put in. It wasn't even at that point in time, the survey of this road was not even complete. So how in the world can you say that we're okay approving this subdivision without all of these questions answered, but yet we have a pretty concrete evidence of a working solution for a solvable situation here, and you say we don't know, or we can't do that right now?
Your solution is narrowing the road or doing away with it.
Our solution would be to follow what Lindon is proposing to Pleasant Grove, which is, yes, narrow the road, make it smaller. Why can't we agree to
So-
that and push it to the
so-
city council?
Just agree to it and then tell Pleasant Grove to eat it, or what?
They already are eating it. It's already on their property.
Part of it, half of it,
More than half of them.
more than half of it.
Yes. Yeah, and so all they're agreeing to is what they've already agreed to. There's nothing that they're changing. But what you're doing for us is you're telling a developer, hey, we're not going to allow you to use all of this slope easement and all of this construction easement and go into these 5 property owners' backyards and build a road.
Well, wait a minute, we're not,
You are.
you're not
If you
talking
don't
about
make
going into their
changes-
backyards and taking their property.
So their subdivision plat that, let me get to that real quick.
But you have the picture right in front of you.
I do, and I
Right.
went up there.
So
I've-
until
I've been
that's
up there and
changed.
walked your backyards.
Yeah, until that's changed, then legally they can use our entire backyards and property to build a road.
But I guess Mike and Juan, I guess, let me just put a theoretical out there and let me ask you something. If Pleasant Grove had adopted this new profile that you just showed us,
Concept, yeah.
the concept, right? And it was approved, and we had minor arterial trail, whatever we want to call it, and we changed the master plan, I don't think that changes any of the easements, because it's still a 66-foot right-of-way.
No, when they purchased their property, to say that there wasn't any notification is wrong.
Right, but-
Here's the subdivision plat. It shows a slope easement on the property.
And to be clear, I didn't say there was no notification. I said, I think in the future, the city should be a little bit more.
I guess just my point here, though, is even if that was all, which it's not, and so we can't go there, but even if that was approved, which he says is a solution, it would not change one of these lines at all, because the easements wouldn't change, that all those would still stay the same, because we still have a 66-foot easement for the road. And we could say, yes, we like this profile, which I would recommend staff to continue working with Pleasant Grove to see if they can make this a viable option. But anything we do tonight is not gonna change.
You're exactly right, but
Any
if
one of
you
those
approve
lines.
that solution, then I can come back with a new application to remove the easements off of my property. Without that solution, I can't even approach removing the easements because
Correct.
there's still a
But-
purpose for them.
But what has been public notice that we're talking about today, we can't do. And so everything that we do is based upon public being notified, public coming, and we have public hearings. And so if we had this proposal before us, and this was the proposal, we could address it. The proposal tonight is to change the general plan to something we don't have.
We can't do.
Which we can't do. And so that's, we can't say, do this, because it hasn't been noticed to the public. It hasn't, all the proper things haven't been done for us to hold a meeting to talk about this.
Yeah, and that, Steve, is exactly what I'm having a frustration with staff. So again, if for some reason, why, again, did we not get this information until this meeting was called?
And
so if I don't call this meeting and we don't bring it
Well,
to
were
your
you
attention.
requesting it? I mean, we had a meeting, when was it? A year and a half ago or 2 years ago?
A year ago, yeah.
Year ago?
To remove the road, right? But what you're not understanding is that we do not get, I cannot go into Lindon City, sit down with Mike.
And you have approached them?
And say, hey, what are the solutions? I literally, the last meeting that we had with them, I said, we would like to discuss solutions. Not one of these three things came up.
How long between the last meeting a year ago
think
and,
Mike would
and the
like to
time that
respond.
you talked with Mike recently?
Ongoing.
And-
Yeah, it's been,
We met on July 20th. I had forgotten about this road profile, and then I
July
immediately
20th of
after.
2026.
Yes, immediately after, I sent an email talking that we.
But
had-
prior to that, no
No.
communication.
Not until Mr. Gardner had filed his application. There was about a 2-month period where we're back and forth trying to set up a meeting about this. We did talk about solutions. We talked about this solution, about a process of updating a new cross-section. I said, the general plan, that's premature. What has to happen next is a new road profile. Even if this, right now, the city would be unwise to remove any easements off the property and off the plat, and until we have final engineering and know exactly how this property would be developed, or the road would be.
So it hasn't been an ongoing thing
yeah,
as it's
actually,
been
I'm
represented.
just gonna make sure that we're all clear on this record. On July 3rd, 2025, PG Development Review Committee met with Adam Cowie, Mike Florence, Mayor Lundberg, and they started to discuss these solutions. There was an email sent out on September 9th of 2025 by Noah Gordon. So September 2025, an entire 9 months ago. This is that email. You can have it. So they discussed solutions in 2025. Okay? So when I file my application or call the Lindon City and say we would like to discuss continued solutions in this year of 2026, literally 3 weeks ago, why in the world are these not brought up as potential solutions to be discussed? Do you understand the problem?
Of course I understand
Okay,
the
so our problem is Lindon City and Pleasant Grove are having conversations about solutions, okay? And they had it almost a year ago. We asked city staff if multiple times, you wanna know how a grammar request comes to me from Lindon City? It's freaking printed out on paper and handed over with redacted information. That's how forthcoming they are with information here. So I just want the commissioner to know and the public to know what it is that we're dealing with here. Okay, so
I'm
why,
sorry, but
if
we
they...
have not had a grandma request for this information. That is.
Actually, you did on September 2nd, 2025. We requested all the information.
And when was that?
September 2nd, 2025. So that is how we got this information, and I
You said you got that from Pleasant Grove, not from Lindon.
Okay, so that was also done on September 2nd. So one of the concerns that I'm having, you guys want us to come to this meeting with a proposed design, right? So that you can actually approve or deny whether that
I
makes
don't
sense
think
or
so.
not, right?
No. That's when you say we want you to know.
Okay, I want to, so that we can find some solutions is a better way to say that. I want to come to this with some proposed design solutions. So when we go to meet with staff and ask them what is going to be worked on, and we get the answer, you're going to have to go talk to Pleasant Grove. Does that sound right?
It does, because 80% of that road is in Pleasant
Own
Grove.
14 feet of this road, and I have to go through you to actually get information. So why do I have to go talk to Pleasant Grove? And when I go talk to Pleasant Grove, why do they open everything to us and have a conversation just like normal people do? And they say, yeah, this is working great. We took these solutions from Lindon, and we think that they're great solutions. We're working with the developer on them. I come back to Lindon and I say, hey, what are the solutions that you're working on a year later? And they tell us, well, I don't know, we've got to keep this road at 66 feet.
Well,
So
this
we
is-
we can take this further, and we can continue to hire attorneys and take this deeper and deeper and deeper into this conversation. But at some point, again, somebody on the planning commission in 2009 approved this subdivision that you're looking at right now. Wasn't very well thought out, and I hope that, you know, going forward, you guys can think through some of this stuff. I just listened to this conversation beforehand. Man, they're just supposed to trust you that trees are going in? I mean, that's kind of.
Well, I think you're speaking out of your lane.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of how our conversation has gone
Okay.
as we
Well,
went back and forth.
Thank
so,
you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's see, we want to open a public hearing. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there any input from anyone here in the public? Yes, come forward, please.
My name is Jeff Wilson. I own property just below these folks, Red Horse Ranch up there.
Can you, can we put that on the screen and kind of point out where that is?
Is that large? Right there.
Right there. Okay. Okay,
And so this has impacted me, all those parcels on the front of my property, my parcels there were required to be dedicated to the city at some point or in the future.
Right.
So I'm also kind of in the same boat of being impacted by this roadway. But what's frustrating to me mostly is the fact that we're getting nowhere with the city with this. Year after year, they say, well, we're gonna work on this, we're gonna talk to Pleasant Grove. Mayor Lundberg says, we encourage a solution to be forthcoming soon, but nothing ever happens. And so you leave these folks.
when you say nothing ever happens, nothing ever happens with respect to putting the road in?
No, with respect to having a long-term solution to these folks' problem mostly.
Oh,
With
okay.
these easements right into their houses. And it is right into their houses, and it's not acceptable. Somewhere along the line, the city made a huge mistake when they approved that plat up there with those easements in the houses. And somewhere along the line, somebody's gonna have to give or somebody's gonna have to pay. So you guys are gonna have to decide.
And let's be clear, the slope easement, I don't believe is in anybody's house. The construction easement, which can be modified because they're doing construction.
Giving them a
that
space
goes
to do
into-
construction? yeah.
Yes, that goes into their homes, but that's not a permanent easement. The slope easement is the permanent easement, but doesn't go into anybody's homes.
Okay. Meaning they could,
Well,
could they build on that slope
The slope
easement?
goes to 1 foot to our back of our house, does that make sense? But at least they don't go through my master bedroom to construct it. Correct.
So just to kind of wrap it up, I just want to see some action here. I want to see some response from the city, some accountability for this.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, please, come forward. State your name there, please.
Eric Svensson, I'm at 689, 3 homes up.
Okay, you're the third home up,
Third home up.
okay?
So I've seen some of you guys shake your heads, you know, like I fully respect having stuff in plan for down the road, keeping things open for growth. That's all great. The problem is every time it rains, I have to worry about my home flooding. I have 2 different pumps, one for my stairwell, one for my window well, because this plan is in limbo. And so every time we have these meetings, and you guys get to see our faces, and we definitely are learning more and coming up with a process. Like, I love that plan, Mike. Like, that's an awesome plan. And I think it's awesome that you guys catered to us with the landscaping on our side, the bike path on the other, which, you know, if I was riding my bike, I'd like to be on the upper road too. But I still can't change the slope in my backyard because of this stupid slope easement by leveling it out and putting in the retaining wall or doing whatever. I even approached Adam last year and I said, hey, listen, I know you're putting a road in. Can I get it surveyed, figure out where everything's going, put in the retaining wall just so I don't have to worry about my home flooding. And his answer to me was, just wait and see what happens with this development. Just wait and see, it's all gonna work it out, or work itself out. Well, that was, what, a year ago-ish? And we've had several rainstorms since then. So we want something to move forward being brought up, whether this causes action with the council to meet with Pleasant Grove and maybe approve this so that we can actually do something. And I know the slope easements are gonna be in retainer until the road actually goes in, but like, we just need the next steps, and having these meetings is how we're getting it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And we do have a member of the council here who's
Yep.
hearing everything you say.
100%.
So, Mike?
Thank you.
With this profile, would it include retaining walls?
We did not get into that.
I mean, it could
Yeah.
still just have curb and gutter and no retaining walls.
So,
It's going to, we're either, the original road either had, it did have a slope easement, or sorry, it had a slope or retaining wall. The council, in 2000, whenever, they decided that they wanted to go with the slope because the retaining wall was too expensive. And so until we start working on engineering and those types of things, that's not even budgeted for.
Well, when the
for this
road
year.
was, just hypothetical, when the road goes in and there's a sidewalk, or there's a curb and gutter to collect the rain runoff, that'll solve your problem.
That's
And
the
run
whole-
the water west.
Yeah, that's what
But
this
that doesn't
shows.
mean the easement will go away.
Correct.
Yeah, this shows curb and gutter on both sides.
Right.
And that's like, when we got the Ivory Homes coming in, we were just like, oh crap, like the plan in place is a slope easement versus a retaining wall for our property, which to me, and you know, this is where we had a difference of opinion, if we had a plan in place,
Yeah.
basically voting the opposite of the slope easement and voting towards a
Yeah.
retaining wall to be our plan, then when Ivory Homes or another developer comes in, they have to say, okay, this is Lindon's plan. We have to take that under heavy, heavy consideration versus
Right.
right now, the slope
Understand.
easement will flood every single one of our homes.
The important part too is we just, you know, it's not uncommon for the public come to us and say, we were told this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it isn't always that way. I mean,
Oh, 100%. When
we
I,
don't want you to say that you were told that there would be retaining walls yet. Maybe there will be, who knows?
heck, when I bought the property, the realtor said, hey, this is the construction easement, it ends right here, and that's it. And on the title, it only showed that. So we've learned quite a bit in
Yeah.
4.5 years, so.
You're
But
co-
we need action.
Yeah, good consideration. Thank you. Any others from the public? Okay.
I move to close the public hearing.
Okay, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, as we've discussed this, I mean, obviously, it's an emotional issue for those people that live right there, and there's been a lot of concern there. It's a real, what's the elevation difference from your backyards to the top of where that path's gonna be? And
Behind me, it's about 25 feet.
Yeah,
5 feet, that's
significant, yeah.
significant. So if, well, I'm not gonna ask that. You know, if you got the property, is the thought that you would retain it yourself, or what would you do to
Yeah, I think all of us would retain.
expand your backyards?
Ideally, what we were hoping is that they would put a row of houses back there, the developer,
Yeah.
and maybe run the road around a row of
Yeah.
houses, and then ideally, we'd just buy those lots behind us, right, and create a little bit more space.
Well, how could that be? I mean,
This proposal doesn't
Yeah,
have the city selling that.
well, they're not big enough to put a house on it. You'd have to get some of the Lindon, or the Pleasant Grove property to build a building lot. Yeah. Okay. As I look at the proposal today, I just can't see where we can move forward. Any comments from anybody else, or do you see it differently? Steve?
I can't see how we can move forward without the two cities working together on it. and I can certainly understand the property owners. I'm familiar with the
No
property.
question.
I can understand their urgency in moving forward, but the two cities have got to work together on it. We can't make a decision by ourselves. As far as these proposals and that type of thing, I've worked with the city for quite some time, and I haven't ever seen them intentionally withholding information. But it may appear that way, but I can't see that being what the issue is. I think that information would have been available from Lindon City as well as Pleasant Grove. But I do think the two cities they've got to work together. We can't make those decisions as a planning commission.
Any other comments?
I guess my only comment there is the only thing I think we could do today to give any relief to these homeowners is to make it a the lowest one, the residential street or whatever, which it doesn't meet the requirement. It would be against our duty to protect the city to go that way. I love the idea of working out solutions, but I just don't think there's anything we can do with this proposal that moves anything forward. Hopefully in a future day, there'll be a road profile that we could put to it if Pleasant Grove City and Lindon decide that's one, and we can do that. So that's my thought. I just don't think there's any, there is one thing we could do, but I think we'd be putting the city in jeopardy if we did it, and I recommend not doing that.
That still wouldn't change the location.
It wouldn't change the location. It might change the width, so therefore I don't know if it changes the easement, or maybe it doesn't even do anything if we did that.
And I think we need to take a good hard look at the width of the road. I mean, you don't want it to be a bottleneck right there if it ends up being a main corridor that goes clear over to Orem. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
I mean, I guess my comment, just real quick, is
Okay.
I'm having a hard time figuring out what are some actionable items without the other major stakeholder in this, and that's the future developer. And I'm just not sure what to do without that person in the room with the other stakeholders, including Pleasant Grove City. So I want to do something actionable, to Jeff's point. I mean, but I'm not sure what that looks like without really having a plan before us on how that property of the Millets is going to be developed. Maybe I'm not creative enough to figure that out.
So looking to the staff and you folks to maybe come up with an alternative, in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, but again, an alternative affects the Millets, who own it right now, potentially, and certainly would affect the future development of it. So I'm having a hard time, and maybe it's my lack of creativity. I'm being sincere here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the actionable item would be.
Jared, I think one of the.
Could you require a retaining wall?
What's that?
Could you require a retaining wall, for example?
That would depend on the future developer.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's interesting that we're concerned, that's I think what we're feeling, is that you're concerned about the Millets and the developer, but we're the constituents of Lindon City.
Yes, but I think that's what makes it so complicated,
That's
Jared.
what
is
complicates
that we can't tell Pleasant Grove City what to do, and
But-
most of this road is on their property.
But you could say
private
on our
property rights are
boundary-
private property rights. In
Right.
other words, whether they're a Lindon resident or a Pleasant Grove resident, we still need to be respectful of private
On our
rights.
property, though, you could say, the Lindon City's right of way, you could say, we're gonna require any future road to be retained
Yeah, and
behind those 5 houses.
and that makes sense to me, but I'm not ready to make that step here at the city to require that. I mean, I would want to have some conversations
What
with them.
prevents you from moving forward with that?
Because that affects the development and the way that's potentially developed.
Meaning that you're fine with the slope going into the backyards?
Again, you're asking me to tell the future on how somebody wants to use that land, and I'm just not willing to do that.
Well, a retaining wall seems, again, pretty straightforward, because you're just saying, hey, we'd be hiring.
Especially at your expense, like if the homeowners, the 4 or 5 homeowners, I like that, I mean, cause that's an
Let's do it
expensive
now.
role.
We'll take care of that right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there will be an argument of, well, where this road's going or not going. That's all we're looking for, is a little bit of permanence, so that we don't have to rely on, to be quite frank, it's been hard to rely on Lindon City, because again, it's been 4.5 years and there's been no movement forward. There's been some proposed solutions that we're just finding out about, which we're excited about. But you're asking us to just wait until a developer comes in, and having met all the developers I know, they're not willing to give up 14 feet of property or build a retaining wall when they don't need to. So if Lindon City's not going to help us put some provisions in place that require that.
Let me ask one more question, because I'm new at this. If the residents, if those 4 homes or how many ever came to Lindon City and said, at our own expense, we will build the retaining wall, I mean,
We would
I'm
say
guessing.
no, not right now, because.
Could there be some way
Not until
to
that
build a
road is
retaining
designed.
wall so that the 60-foot, so there isn't?
No, not
Okay.
until you've got some actual engineering
Know
on
what
that
you're doing
road.
to engineer the
Yeah.
wall.
And to say Lindon City isn't doing anything, we are. It may not be what the residents want, it may not be at their speed, but we are working on this. And just because they're not getting what they want, doesn't mean we're not working on this.
Right, and so I was just wondering if there was a way for them to move forward, but I guess
Not really.
they could put a retaining wall in, but with the peril of, if it doesn't work for the road,
And the
it would have
slope
to be.
easement, though.
Not in the slope easement, because the
okay.
city controls easement. So, and if I'm understanding correct, let's say hypothetically we come up with another, like this proposal here, that would eliminate, just because the mere fact of the curb and gutter, that would eliminate the runoff problem without the stem wall, without the retaining wall at this point, you know? So it's really hard to say, yeah, here, build your retaining wall.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so that helps me understand that, thank you. That with the easement, they're stuck with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Thank you for the discussion.
You bet, thank you. I hope we can resolve this for you. I need a motion.
Is there a motion here?
I don't think it's.
I don't know if I prepared one in your,
So all we can do is
Packet.
just,
What's the title? I'm guessing,
that, you recommend to the city council denial of the application to amend this Lindon City Street Master Plan. Street Master Plan map.
But that doesn't mean that they can't take it to the city council.
Right.
no,
Even
we're
if
just
we deny
recommending.
it, then they can still take it to the city council.
In fact, we
who
recommend it's gonna go to the council. right?
certainly has a lot more authority than we do.
okay.
Okay, you want to make that, Steve?
I can attempt.
All right.
I recommend denial of the request to amend the Lindon City General Plan, Street Master Plan map by reducing the width of the future 1200 East Road expansion behind the homes located at 663 East, 770 North, 677 East, 770 North, 689 East, 770 North, and 771 East and 770 North.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sorry. Good luck.
We appreciate the help, thank you.
Okay, the item number 8 is also a public hearing. It's the Development Manual and Water Share Ordinance, Lindon City. Michael?
Yeah, Juan, you want to come over and help me with this one?
Yes.
So, for what, 150 years, the North Union Canal provided water to, secondary water irrigation to Lindon City, and we've been working with our partners, and we have abandoned the use of that canal. Juan has worked a lot on coming up with what the new water shares should be that would be collected. The proposal for that is for Provo River Water Users Association Alpine District Full. That would take the place of North Union shares. And then these equivalents here would equal the Alpine District Full share. Juan, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, it was a really hard decision to bring the use of the North Union and the Provo Bench canals to an end after over a century to deliver the water, but the way the land is being used is different than what it was when the canal was built. There was a lot of exfiltration, a lot of problems with creating flooding basements. There was even a possibility of a landslide at the Provo Orem Bench that could have taken out, well, the houses below it are in the multi-million dollars. It fell in disrepair, and it just cost more to fix it than to get the water delivered in a nice, safe manner through the Provo River Aqueduct, the old Murdoch Canal alignment. So that's the way to still get the shares and water for the city is to switch over from our gold standard that used to be the Provo Bench North Union shares now to the Alpine District shares, and those also come with capacity in the aqueduct. So that's why it's a good way of doing it. The other equivalents also can be we can deliver the water through the aqueduct and still be able to acquire some water that way. And then the other ones are in the sections that are not accessible. The delivery point is Lindon, like the Hollow Water, the Cobley Ditch, and the Southfield are waters that do not come through the aqueduct, but they still had some history on different parts of the west side of town to get us the water. So that's the equivalent, and we kind of compare them with the actual wet water. Usually the North Union Canal had about roughly 6 acre-feet of water, and these other ones, when we do the conversions, those shares equal to roughly 5.5, 6 acre-feet of water.
So a person who had 1 share of North Union water, when that was done away with, were given Deer Creek storage shares.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that if that person wanted to develop a half-acre lot, he would give half share, right? Of North Union.
For a half-acre lot.
Yes.
Half a share for half-acre lot, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So what does he now have to give in Deer Creek storage?
So the Deer Creek storage, so it's half acre, let's do the conversion there. So 1 share of Provo River Water Users Association full is required to develop half acre or 1 acre, Mike?
So, yeah, 1 share of Provo River Alpine District Full would be 1 acre of property.
So a half-acre lot is half
So a
share.
half-acre lot would be a half share.
So
Alpine.
it's the same as it was
Yeah.
before.
Right.
So 5 shares of Deer Creek
Equals 1.
storage, you'd have 2.5 shares. Would equal a half share of Alpine.
Well, if a person has 2 shares of Deer Creek storage, he can develop how many half-acre lots?
1 half-acre lot, because 1 share, 5 shares of the Deer Creek storage equals 1
Well, then,
associate. So
leaving
2.5.
so we didn't get enough shares given to us by the city then.
Well, man, let me see if I understand it. It sounds to me like a North Union water share got exchanged into 5 shares of Deer Creek storage. Is that wrong or right?
Wrong.
Wrong.
No, yeah, so.
Okay, so what
North-
you're saying is the right.
Yeah. And if I gave up 2 shares of North Union and was only given 2 shares of Deer Creek storage, and I want to develop, now I don't have enough water shares.
We gave you
you'd be a half share short.
You didn't get Deer Creek storage, you got.
I wasn't a half acre short, I wasn't a half share short before, though. Now I am.
You used to be able to do 2 acres, and now you can only do not even a half acre, if it was 1 for 1, so.
Yeah. So that's.
What did you get? I guess for North Union, what was the?
I have I have the conversion of what you turned in and what I gave you on the.
Yeah, and I said to you, now I have this adequate amount of shares to develop this amount of property that I had planned to with Northern Houston, and I thought it was a straight conversion, but now, under this, it isn't.
Well, let's review your transaction, because I
Okay.
want to make it, I have it all in the
All right.
paperwork, so
That's
it's
fine.
equal to.
Okay.
To what you have to turn in, yes, Scott.
Okay, not being familiar with all these water shares and
Yeah,
everything.
I'm
Not being
kinda lost
familiar
in
with
all
that.
this.
How come so somebody comes to us and says, I don't have any shares, so I'm just gonna pay the city X amount of money.
Charge 95% of the market
Of
rate.
the market rate, so you're charging that, you're just getting that, but there's really no more water, my shares, you just sold something, you just had somebody pay for something that doesn't exist, so in essence, doesn't that reduce my share, given the fact that it's only a share of the available water?
Well, we're still using that to help the whole water system, so that money may be used, like, so this section here that we rewrote, it's got lots of strikeouts and everything, but it says that last sentence, for purposes associated with supplying water to the city, so we may take that fee in lieu that we've collected over time and go out and buy more shares.
Okay.
Or we may use it to operate, maintain, or replace the water system.
Okay, yeah, because I've heard, and I'm not totally up to speed on all this, but I've heard some residents feel that this deal to eliminate the North Union Canal lessened our water situation here in Lindon. That may not be the case, but I hear that's what people are talking about. You know, is that the case, or?
I made a presentation, the way we are right now, we have about 2 times the amount of water that we need just with the water in our portfolio.
Okay.
So we have about 7,000 acre feet. We're currently using, in this bad year, we're trending to be using about 3,800 acre feet of water. So we have plenty of the wet water, and we want to keep a big cushion, because as the water becomes scarce, for example, this year, the commissioner and through the governor said, you're going to cut your allotment to 50%. So 50% of 8,000 is still 4,000 acre feet of water. So we're never going to be to the point where we're going to get the right amount of acre feet, just barely, if we were planning on 100% allotment.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the water we're collecting in lieu of, we also have some loans that were given by Central Utah Water Project. When we tapped into the Alpine 3 reach, we were able to get about 1,000 acre feet through that pipe, and it was all on credit.
So we're comfortable with total build-out of 15,000 instead of 12, whatever it is, that will still have plenty of water, population-wise.
So at this point, for where we look at the build-out, our build-out requirement for water is going to be about 4,000 acre feet.
Okay.
In our portfolio, we have about 8,000
Okay.
acre feet of water.
My interest is, of course, the Lindon City decided to abandon the North Union ditch.
You know,
Canal.
Not entirely, because Orem had a lot to do with that too, didn't they?
And the water
Yeah.
master, they lost a water master and.
Well, Orem
I think
City.
you're the water master, aren't you?
What's that?
You're the water master?
It's John Tucker. John Tucker was our water master.
Okay. Well, for some reason, I mean, Lindon City decided to do away with the North Union Canal.
So it wasn't just Lindon City. Lindon City was the last large user of water in the canal.
Right.
But we only
And-
had less than 50% of the water.
Right. My concern is that if a person that owned X amount of shares in that canal, and he had enough water shares to develop some raw land before the canal went out of service, and the city swapped him for some other, turned in the shares, and he was given shares in another canal, he should be able to just still develop that same amount of land with the shares the city gave him.
Right. And that's
Right.
that's why we,
But the way you've got your ratio.
Conversions.
Conversions, it won't. I don't think. Now, maybe I'm wrong.
well, I made it so it's converts to apples. I think I
Okay.
gave you Alpine District shares.
No, you gave me Deer Creek Storage.
No,
I'm pretty sure you
no,
did.
no. Deer Creek Storage is 1 acre foot per share.
Okay.
And I gave
I'll
you
go home and
Alpine,
check it.
I gave you Alpine shares.
But your intent is that nobody lost, they don't have to come up and go
Correct.
buy more water.
Correct.
To do the same amount of development.
What I wanted to do when I did the exchange with Lindon residents was so those North Union shares would stay in Lindon instead of selling them to
Right.
Central Utah or Jordan Valley, and then
Of
that
course,
water-
that made sense, yeah.
Then that water's gone from,
But that person was given something of comparable value that.
Correct.
That would allow him to develop his property without going and
Have
buying.
all the shares been turned in then? All North Union shares turned in? I mean, like
Yeah, so-
Harley Gilman and everybody that had hundreds of shares?
all those shares were already, there is no more Alpine shares.
No
or-
more North Union shares?
North Union or Provo Bench. The people that kept the shares, for example, we kept all of our water shares.
Right.
But then we convert those, so those shares are based on the water right, on the Provo River water right. The whole water right was like 50 CFS to irrigate 8,000 acre feet. So then those shares that we get, for example, our share converted to 25 CFS to irrigate 4,000 acres, right? So now, instead of having shares, now we have a fraction of the Provo River water right.
So technically, it should,
Convert.
a North Union share should still do 2 half-acre lots, if it were a North Union share, but now what it got converted to should still do,
lots.
2 half-acre lots. Is that correct, Juan?
Correct.
Okay.
So the shares that are trading now, that there are still shares in a company, because that's what they were, is shares
Right.
in a company. The Provo Bench and North Union dissolved. Whoever had those shares now ended up with a Provo River water right that is measured with acre feet and CFS. The companies that still are out there that hold shares are the Provo River Water Users Association,
All those shown there.
Pleasant Grove Irrigation, Hollow Water, Cobley, and Southfield.
Yeah.
Those are the people that still have a currency
Right.
that is shares. There is still the old Provo Bench and North Union shares. For example, there were some people that kept their 5 shares converted to the Provo River water right. That still has that CFS and acre feet behind it, so that's still very tradable. You know, there's still some of the speculators that kept their shares that way, but mostly those shares went for the actual water distributors that are Central Utah, Orem, Pleasant Grove. There are cities that are providing that water. It's not that we're hoarding the water and keeping it. That's the water we have to provide for all the users.
So it sounds like that is straight across, but let's ask one more question. The developer that comes in and develops 10 half-acre lots, does, the property didn't have any water attached to it, what's their cost to pay the city to cover what they need to cover for pressurized irrigation?
Whatever the going rate is for the.
Yeah, which could change.
And we
Which-
take
which-
95% of that.
If it were today,
Today, what's our, like
let's say I
60,
come in and apply to do a 10-lot subdivision tomorrow, what am I gonna pay if the
If you
property
don't
I
have
bought
water
didn't have
shares.
any water shares?
whatever somebody's willing to sell them to you for.
No, you can buy from the city can go 95% of what.
I want to say it was right around 60,000.
60,000 per share.
Yeah.
85%
So,
30,000 per half-acre lot.
yes.
So when I got here
in about 6 years ago, the going rate for a North Union share was about $24,000.
And that would have did 2 lots.
Now, last year it was up to about 27,000, 28,000, I think, is what we were doing the fee in lieu, so.
Right.
at
And it's been as
95%.
high, I've seen it over 30 before.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
But, yeah,
But it got really crazy there, and the Provo bench, which is almost two shares of North Union, was selling for 75, 80,000. So that makes it, that North Union about 40,000. Now, the city doesn't see the value of the shares in dollars. We see it on the water that we have
right.
to provide to residents, right?
Rob, when, maybe you don't need to answer this if you don't want to, but when did you make this transaction? I thought you turned in your water shares when they put in the pressurized irrigation, but this seems more recent.
Yeah, this was what, last year, Vaughn?
So Rob had extra shares. He turned in the water he needed for what he has now, but then he ended up having more shares. So when we were gonna dissolve the company, everybody got a letter saying, we're gonna dissolve the company, what do you wanna do with your shares? You wanna sell them in the market? What do you wanna do?
And we wanted the city to have them.
Or do you
Really?
want, or you want to have another share that you can still trade with and appreciate in value? So I
converted 'em.
So I reached out to all the residents.
Silver to gold or something like that.
So I reached out to all the residents in Lindon that still had shares and offered them for the city to have those North Union shares, and we traded either other shares that are compatible so you can still turn them in, or we bought them outright, or they turn them in for future development, which were maybe about 4 or 5 people that were still.
Still had North Union shares.
Market rate right now, this quarter is 55,000. We're charging the 95%, which is $51,250.
Half-acre lot
That for a 1 acre.
for 1 acre, so.
You gotta do 2 halves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So really, it's not that far off, really, is it?
It's a little bit higher.
It's
a little
higher,
bit.
but it's
Yeah.
not as bad as I thought it was a
Right.
minute ago.
Yeah.
While we're still on water, and I can move away from the shares, we have meters. Is there any plans in the future to establish a baseline to begin monitoring those meters?
So-
Where is the city and the state on that?
So we are monitoring, but we do not have to be charging till 2030. So we are still monitoring, and I'm trying to see what's the most equitable way to distribute the.
To establish a baseline?
FE, exactly.
And the baseline would most likely be based on acreage or?
Usage, and maybe what I'm toying with is landscape area, right? So if you have a big lot, but then you just have a gravel or you're gonna base it on usage. And also, all I'm trying to do is cover the cost to maintain the system, right? The pumps, the reservoirs. And,
These years up to 2030 give them a lot of data to get a good feel for. I had a neighbor the other day that bought a home on 2nd South, on 200 South, that converted it all to xeriscape. And he claims he's using a teeny fraction of what a normal half-acre lot's using based on the way he's watering. He says he only has to water every other week.
So would his allotment be less based on?
No,
That's where I'm having a hard time. We have such a wide variety of land use that I'm still kind of seeing what these people are doing.
Glad he's got to 2030 to figure this out.
What these people are doing and how to separate the cost, right? Because right now, I get all the money in the water utility fund, and then I don't make the distinction of where I'm spending the money, if it's all going to culinary or if it's going to pipes on the road. So I still have to kind of separate that and make it, okay, this money I'm collecting from stormwater, from secondary water, I'm gonna spend just on the secondary water needs. But right now, it's all coming together, and so it's all still trying to pick that yarn ball apart and
You have to
keep it.
be really smart to figure all this out.
Good luck.
People in the office, so we'll, and then it's not just us, but we're relying on what's Lehigh doing, what's,
Right.
Municipalities.
we're not gonna,
It sounds really difficult.
So is anybody already charging based off the meters?
yes, so Anderson Farms, when they develop,
They're being
we're
metered.
actually billed for usage. But they're pretty similar on sizes of lots and, and usage. One thing that we're doing as a city, we installed these smart controllers that we don't tell it what day to water or how much to water, we just say water. And then we just enter what kind of soil it is, what the slopes are, and then, so.
In our parks you're talking about.
It's in our parks and the cemetery. So the cemetery, when I see the tracking, we're probably about 2.5 days per week, 2 days per week. And the different kind of grass that we put at the cemetery, you can see distinctly 2 different kinds of varieties. And the new part is one of those tall fescue that.
Drought resistant.
That is more of a summer turf than so.
By the way, it looks great.
It looks.
Turned out really good.
It's looking good, yeah.
Okay.
We sure appreciate all you do.
Any other
Having fun.
input there? This is a public hearing, so we need to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think there's much
Anything you wanna
public
say?
left here other than Lincoln.
Anthony doesn't have anything.
Any input from anybody? Then we need to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion? We need a second?
I'll second that.
Second that? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we need a motion for the proposal. Proposed amendment. Are we all clear on the exchange? I think we're good? Okay, so somebody want to make a motion?
Is there a motion there? Yeah, item 8.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Mike?
I move to recommend the ordinance amendment 2026-15-0 as presented.
Okay,
I'll second that.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you for being here.
Item, as I mentioned earlier, yes. Item number 9 is canceled. We'll look at that maybe in the future. So item number 10,
Yeah, let me just explain about that one really
Okay.
quick. So, they are looking, this map's a little hard to see, but they're looking at going in right here where it says number 8. But the way the property is subdivided, is this lot here. So if you see, it matches up with this building right here, Lot 3. So they applied to remove the sales tax portion off this property, but then when we looked at the map here, it's already within this district here, District 6. And that's one that was taken off in about 2022 for an office building. So as I got writing the staff report, I'm like, oh, wait, it's already in this district that was taken off. And so that's why we can't, they could cancel their
so
application.
they don't need to.
They don't need to, they're already within that district.
What is their goal for that?
Yeah, they're gonna do a really nice office building. Let me pull that up and I'll show you.
And that's on 700?
Yeah.
Something there.
So Here's some pictures of that.
Oh,
They're,
There.
so I think they do home health, but this will be their corporate headquarters.
Oh, okay.
And so they are gonna do this building in the front and then maybe a second phase in the back in the future.
Okay.
So I think this will come to you for, they're very anxious to get going, so I think that'll come to you in the next month, probably.
Well, so is Brown, but
Is that on the north
is
side?
he dropped, what's going on
He's
there?
trying to work on some funding with the county to help offset his gap. He's got a very large financing gap, and so he's trying to get some money through the county on tourism tax
Very hard.
that they have available.
And then the 2 lots he's bought,
We haven't heard anything on those.
but they both have for sale signs on them now, I noticed. as I go
Oh,
by.
I haven't noticed that.
Anybody else notice that there's a blue for sale sign on, there's a sign on each side of Anderson Lane? On each side of Anderson Lane. there's
On
a-
the south side?
Yeah, on the south, on the north side.
Oh, north.
On the north side, there's 2 signs on the north side.
I just assumed those are the same signs that have
for
been out there
these
for a long
two?
Yeah,
time.
those 2 have a new blue sign saying,
Oh,
Yeah, different broker.
saying for sale.
Yeah.
You noticed it too?
Maybe he's trying to fill a gap.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Hmm.
So those, and it's good to hear he's not gone. I was
No.
concerned he went away.
no, we recorded the plat a couple weeks ago for these 2 properties of his here.
Okay, good.
And so, as far as I know, he's still working on it.
And then the ICO apartments.
Yeah, I reached out to them about a month ago. They said that they want to look at doing phase 1 next summer sometime.
Okay.
So we'll see what interest rates and everything
Yeah.
else still do. But
Oh,
I was at a conference a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was a lot on multifamily, and multifamily developers are like, rents are too low, interest rates are too high, nobody's building anything
No.
right now. So,
And
and these were all the big guys, you know,
And costs are real high.
yeah.
speaking of conferences, we got 2 conferences, APAC and Land Use Institute. Which one are you recommending?
The APA one is the one I recommend. If you, Karen and Sharon are going, if anybody else would like to go, September 9th and 10th. The 10th is more the planner's day, but you're welcome to go. It signs you up for both days.
It signs you up for both days, but you only have to, the one that's most appropriate is on the 10th.
Yes.
It is Claret and Layton, so that's,
I know, I'm thinking we'll do it one day, the day that's appropriate.
Let me
Yeah.
know, because the registration closes in the next few days.
Sorry, I just noticed
So-
it on my thing,
Nope.
is when I signed in. I think I'm interested on the 10th.
Okay.
If someone else is going.
yeah, we're going on the 10th.
Put that on my phone.
Okay, I'll get you registered.
That's the APA conference?
Yeah. Anybody else interested?
Might be.
It's
How many
pretty,
hours do we need to get?
It'll
well, you
It'll
get 4
cover
hours
3
or
of your
something.
4 hours.
3 of the 4?
They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, they are, I bet.
Yeah.
Just,
Couple other updates real quick. We've been working with a group called Gorilla Car Wash and Rad Tag to go on this property. They would each take half, so Gorilla Car Wash would go on the west side. Rad Tag, they're in Pleasant Grove right now. They indoor laser tag. They want to do indoor laser tag and an kind of upscale outdoor mini golf.
I like that, for that region, for that.
Yeah.
And that's on the north side.
They'll both need site plan and conditional use permit approval. We received an application from Wayne Corbridge on this property next to Walmart here for townhomes.
Okay.
So he wants a new zoning ordinance and a new zone, and so I'm working on writing that and possibly a development agreement.
Is it significantly different?
What's density this time?
I think he's at 17 units to the acre.
So I thought, okay.
what is the one by Lindon Nursery?
It's
10.
at 10. So,
Both the others are 10.
Yeah.
I understand, basically, the south side of 700 corridor basically all fell through at this point, right?
It is, yeah. Castlewood backed out. They're not in.
They're not in, Costco's not in, no
Right.
one's really in.
Yeah, we're actively meeting with developers, the mayor and I, and so there's a couple that are interested, so.
I feel sorry for her. She feel, all the work we put into that, and it went away. I told her the day that comes together, one of those roads is gonna be Lundberg Lane.
Dunkin' Donuts is looking at going in the Arby's restaurant. They're gonna do
Are they
a
They're
remodel.
still looking at it. That's not anything definite then.
We haven't heard from them. They're corporate and they're like in New York or something,
They're
and
like
so
Buffalo or
it's
something.
kind of like with Bank of America. It took forever,
Yeah.
you know, and so they've met with us. They've ran some designs by us. They're going to do a little change to the exterior, but
If the high rent drove out Arby's, I can't imagine the high rent being successful with donuts.
yeah. Quick Quack, we've received building plans for them to upgrade the Take 5 car wash there. And then the Alpine Timpanogos School District office that's going here.
On State Street?
Yeah, we should be receiving a proposal for that anytime. They want to try and move on that quickly, so.
The Alpine,
The Timpanogos School
the
District.
Timpanogos.
The administrative
Their
office.
administrative
But it
offices.
did look like, I saw somewhere that the bus garage issue went away because they combined with.
They're sharing or something.
Sharing.
They signed in a 3-year agreement to use the same lot over in American Fork that
Yeah.
they've been
There's
using.
a lot of happy people
Sense.
down by you.
Why have-
Away, but
No, it
it's,
hasn't gone away,
but
yeah,
it's,
But then
Where
postponed.
are they building the district office on the,
they're gonna
on the-
use it, they're
on the
gonna,
car?
Panhandle?
Disability.
they're buying this car lot,
Yeah, the car lot, oh, okay.
and then they're gonna use the front of the, like you said, this panhandle.
That's Ray
property
Tuckett's
here.
car lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then
oh, I thought it was over where they.
This will all stay the same.
Which is just what's its current usage?
What he was
Maintenance.
pointing at, I didn't
Just
know Raid sold that to the
offices
school
there.
district.
Yeah. And then
Why
just
they didn't
one
just
last item that we had,
Put on
um,
school district property.
I don't know.
I saw they tore down all those.
so remember this project on 1600 North and, was that 400 West?
Yeah, it's 400 west.
So they're not, they don't have tenants yet for the 4 pad sites. They're working on that, but they want to start preparing the site. And so they want to put in these connecting and access roads and driveways. Let me get your opinion, but we've told them we think that's okay, but then they would need to come to you guys for site plan approval of each lot.
Correct.
Are you okay with that?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, they've.
Collier's, right? This is Collier.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So that's what,
They just want to do the infrastructure.
they want to get going on the infrastructure, then come to you with site plan approval for each pad site.
Because those could differ very depending on who comes in.
Yes, yep,
That's fine.
so,
That's good.
okay. And I thank Brittany for putting my list together for me here to give you an update, so.
Okay, is there any other questions for Mike before we adjourn?
I would just comment on, I wasn't up here with the, it's probably a good thing with my neighborhood down there, but that is a parking lot that is a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think one of the comments made, and I don't know whether the HOA, I didn't know the HOA, if it is really Wayne Corbridge's son who lives in that corner that runs the HOA. Because a lot of the homes that were bought by parents that some people have been living, it's starting to shift. And my guess is the rental percentage is too high. That's not being enforced. That I think it would only be 20% rentals and, or whatever was written in there. And I think that's causing problems. I think there's lots of people sharing a townhome just because of expense, and there's lots and lots of cars. And they park on, which I think would be illegal, but they park on corners, just to
Right.
fit. I mean,
Like she said.
it's all the way there. So it's something enforcement might want to look at,
Yeah.
but I don't know what we can do for the HOA, but I'm guessing they're not
Can't.
really being enforced.
If it's city property,
but if.
We
it's
could
your-
go and red curb one side of that entire street.
We can, yes.
We could go, and then we have something to enforce.
Right.
Yes.
So if we red curbed one entire side of that road, that would discourage multiple families from living in it, because there is no parking.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I feel kind of sorry for Jay-Z
Well, when
Styles,
those
because I think people
proposals-
will start parking in their parking lot overnight.
When those proposals came through, the comment, I made the comment, never have enough parking.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you never do.
And I think it's just because they have so many people in there. When I walk there at night, I think most of the cars are not in the garages. I think the garages are full of
Garages are
junk.
full
Full
of
stuff.
storage.
And then all the cars are parked in, and so any visitor, it's just, the road is just
I remember
packed.
when we went and toured over there behind Macy's in Pleasant Grove, it's the same way there.
Yeah. So, just being in the neighborhood, the
Yeah.
traffic up and down our street is not nearly as bad as the parking issues.
For them.
Are they parking on your street? Are they reaching around, or are they?
No, because of the single-family homes.
Single-family's the buffer, what we
that's-
were hoping for.
That was the buffer we've hoped for. The only other thing, I think I've mentioned this, if there's any way, when we look at a new development like that, if you could mandate dog,
Barriers.
Well, we're
poop
gonna be
areas
looking at one
or
there by
or bags,
Walmart.
because it's constant. The dogs up our street is
Yeah, that's,
a lot more than any
that's a good
cars.
thing, dog poop areas. and-
Dogs?
The dogs, and
Yep,
they are constantly in our yard.
that's an amenity we think about at parks, but we don't think about it in
And they
housing
have a
complex.
grass area, but I'm sure they want to be more on a walk than
Yeah.
in their little grass area.
Mike, would you need to bring that up with the police department here about red curbing one side of that street?
Works One was here and listened to that, so, our city engineers are the ones that evaluate that stuff.
Yeah, we
Well,
probably
that
ought to
is-
look at it. I
that
mean, I'm
is-
glad, I'm glad you said what you did, because I wouldn't have been quite as kind as you were about whatever the lady was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She knew she was a planning commissioner.
Well,
I would add, but, state of Utah might be a lot different than the state of
Idaho.
Idaho.
Yeah,
for
Idaho's a lot
Telling you
different.
what your planning commission job is up there.
well, one thing I would like to just say with everything else is that with our speaker from, Dave Gardner, it's really difficult for me when they start throwing accusations at Lindon City's administrative staff, because, and I brought that up, that I cannot see our staff intentionally withholding information.
Yeah, I admit it in here, I forgot that we had that road profile, but as soon as I was reminded of it, I gave him that information.
Yeah.
Like, I felt bad in the meeting, I totally forgot about it. It'd been almost a year since we worked with Pleasant Grove on that, and I told him, I'm sorry, here it is, so,
You have a lot of things you're working on.
yeah.
And the
That's not the only
reality,
one.
he wants stuff to move forward, but the reality is nothing's gonna move forward
It's
until
an
the
awkward-
developer comes
It's a
along.
tail wagging the dog.
Until the-
We're kind of the tail wagging the dog.
Until that developer comes along.
Well, and I went up there and walked it in
Yeah, I've
preparation.
been up there a lot.
Those residents are building on the property, or not building, but they're using
And
the
we,
property,
about.
the
in
Lindon
Mar-
property.
Well, in March, I sent them, I put together with Brian a licensing agreement for them, because they are using the city property. They got basketball court built on that. And they've all refused to sign the licensing agreements. All the license agreement said is, we're gonna give you permission to use it, you have liability, we're going to give you notice, before we start construction, that you have to move your improvements. And they've refused to sign those, so.
Well, my suggestion, if they refuse to sign it because of the liability for the city,
Yeah,
tell them to get off.
yeah. We're working on some alternatives, so.
They're already mad enough.
That's all right.
It's gonna be ugly, and well, the day we go in and red curb
Somebody else's property.
Songbird Cove, there's gonna be some,
Yeah.
there's gonna be hue and cry, but maybe it'll force them to rent a shed for all their stuff.
I don't know, hopefully they don't come up the
for their
street.
Garages.
Yeah.
I heard the same issue at Tilia Court yet, so, we'll see.
Yeah. Just the other question, anybody know, the property on 400 and Locust was for sale. Did it sell? I mean, is it sold or is it just taking the signs down?
I don't know.
And I looked on that one, that's a
Green
big,
Jared.
that's a big, like an L-shaped lot. It includes the home.
It was the
goes out to
manufactured home,
street,
all
and then
that.
It goes all
yeah.
the way back behind.
The
price
It's a
that they were
very
asking
unique
was-
lot.
Yeah, it was a big price. I was wondering if the sign didn't last
It's a
very long.
unique lot, and then they still have that one to the east of the manufactured home. There's still a 20,000 acre lot
Well, that was
sitting
part-
there.
At least the county
all-
still has it under the same name, but that,
Yeah, see, that's a big lot.
yeah, and it's all 3 lots is what they're
They were
selling.
selling all
Oh, they're
three.
trying
all
to sell
three.
all three?
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
didn't realize
huge.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's.
It's still
just
for
that
sale.
one is valued.
The sign's gone.
The sign's gone
Which that's,
when I
that's
drove by.
undervalued, man, cause the
gone.
ones over on the,
I'm so excited.
You don't know
the
if it's
ones
sold or
That's
not.
what I'm asking. Does anybody know if
Where
it's
is it?
sold?
that big old mansion house that we
Yeah.
divided into some lots, they're getting $615 for a $20,000 acre. There's only 3 lots left out of all 10 or 11 of those lots, and they're getting over $600,000 for each one of those lots.
No, they haven't sold one yet.
Well, they only list 3 for sale, the rest of them all
But
say
there's
sold.
only,
Well, that's because.
yeah,
the
there's
owner
only
kept
3
it.
for sale. So the guy
Oh.
that bought this home, the big home, he
Yeah.
also bought this one, he bought this one, and then he bought the 2 back properties.
Oh,
So
that's-
you only
that
have,
explains it.
yeah, you only
Okay.
have those 3
I
that
thought
are
all those others were
available.
sold, and it was like, oh my gosh.
They're doing a remodel on that house. That's a new owner that's doing that?
big one?
or- Okay.
Yeah, he wants to do an Airbnb there.
It's gonna
So-
be brutal.
Oh,
No neighbors are gonna wanna move in there with a 20-room Airbnb at the end of their street.
19,000 square feet, that home.
And we're one of the only cities, I've noticed every other city's really looking at the Airbnb or the short-term rentals are all trying to restrict it, yet we're Lindon, we're sitting here in the middle, we're not.
We did pass an ordinance for it, but
But it's not as restrictive as some of the other.
it's not as, the council purposely wanted to start more general and then tighten it down as if they needed to.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a 21-room home, I hear.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how many rooms.
The one on,
The big house that's
yeah,
there.
I'm
I
sure
don't
it
know
is.
what kind of market there'd be for that,
He's got 2
This is
others
for
like that.
frat house or something.
recovery.
It's a big
That's a
family.
massive family reunion.
That's the big worry.
It's always,
Yes, he has one in Heber
Who's that?
in Park City, I think.
I could maybe see that.
He does them for,
Park
I think
City
he's
had-
he's hoping to tap in on the BYU
Well,
activities and.
I was
games
talking to people up near the temple, and they're getting $700 a night because of the temple. And he told me that in July, he only went 3 nights that he wasn't fully rented at $700 a night.
Where's this?
Right above the Lindon Temple, because families are coming in for weddings and,
Is there an Airbnb up there?
yeah.
Where is that at?
I didn't ask him, it's just above the temple. It's just above the temple on one of those roads, just above the temple there.
He rents the whole house out?
What?
We now have 4 or 5 people, they're doing basements mostly. They're Airbnb.
And but the temple is drawing it, and the same person I talked to said he has a brother down in, Payson, down near the Payson Temple, who has an Airbnb, and he has one out in Florida on the beach. And he says the Payson one is more profitable
Than
and it's
the
booked
beach one.
than a beach one in Florida because of families coming in to support, temple
So
weddings.
not to, that we want to rat people out, but, we have on record about 10 or 11 in the city. And, if someone is running an Airbnb, they do need to be licensed and, because they are running a commercial business in a residential zone and then also the city gets the hotel and transient room tax off of that.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, if you hear any, let us know and we'll reach out to that property owner, work with them.
Sounds
So-
like Lincoln is privy to that.
Do you have anything tonight that you wanna?
I just want to say, sitting back here and just watching the entire night unfold, so much respect for every one of you, for accusations that, mostly unfounded, but hostility directed towards you and your director towards you, and keeping your cool. Mike and Brittany are the very best. Right? Oftentimes I come here when developers are here, I will walk out and talk to them, and every single one of them accolades galore. Mike,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, they do great.
Brittany, you guys, you do wonderful. We appreciate it so much. And all of you for being where you sit. You know you're sitting in the hot spots.
Well, you know they're misinformed when they say we're worse than Pleasant Grove, because that's not our reputation out on the street, I can tell you that right now.
The statement that was interesting is they said, you know, he was saying, well, Pleasant Grove, they're so easy to work with. They've given us everything we want. They're so easy to work with. But then when they were when he was talking about working with Pleasant Grove, he says, oh, they don't care about any of this. So to me, that contradicts.
It's not the truth anyway.
You know.
Developers are hating Pleasant Grove these days.
For them to be able to get whatever they want from them, and then for him to say they don't care about it.
Because we're easier to get along and do anything. Until they get a developer. Okay, any other things?
Next meeting is September 15th. Is
September
that right?
15th.
Okay, let me see September 15th.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second? Jared, come on.
I'll second it, yeah.
Jared's got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thanks.
You say September 15th?
We're all putting it in my.
The 15th, that's the
September.
second.
Should be
Poor little
September
boy
8th.
sitting over there forever.
Second?
Probably 15th and the 29th.
Because it'd be the 8th, would be the
So
second.
there'll be
Yes.
3 weeks
Mike,
in
is it
between.